Yo, what's up? I was getting stuck into that there.
Yeah, that was a group.
I was expecting to have the Strange Brew intro after that, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the music, the famous music.
A little bit disappointed, to be honest.
I know. A little bit disappointed.
What's up, boys? How are we?
What's happening?
We are good. Festive, should they say.
Who's the most festive here right now? I think you kind of won.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I tried with this. I was going to wear the beard and everything, but it's just no.
Put on your mask.
Oh, it's such an effort.
It's so
Dude,
dope.
You have no idea how ridiculously, like, the size of this thing.
It's so cool. I want one.
That is so cool.
It looks like you killed Krampus and cut his head off.
It's so freakish. Like, even
and we'll get into it because I just watched it. I finished it last night. I watched half on Friday before we got into our Christmas special, and then I finished it last night, and I forgot how actually I think it's a good movie. We'll get into it in a bit, but do you want to intro us, horror boy?
I was going to attempt to put it on, but I don't think it's going to work.
So obviously for the audio listeners, Aaron has like a replica mask of Krampus from the movie. I got a skull full of eggnog.
I got a
This is
nice
going to
tall
sound
Guinness.
absolutely ridiculous, but what is eggnog?
It's God's cum. Like I said, it's God gave us chickens that produced eggs, and then somebody made it into a delicious drink, and now we drink it.
Okay, that clears that up for me. Thanks.
It's
It'll
a
get you
dessert.
drunk.
It's a dessert drink. It's literally like eggs and spices and I think cream or some shit. It's delicious, and it's strange to me that you guys don't have never tried. Chelsea's never tried it, and I drink it every year. Billy likes it to an extent, but you can only have like one or two glasses. And when we had the Christmas special, Billy's like, "Is that eggnog?" He's like, "I'm gonna have a glass. I haven't had eggnog in forever." And he's like, It's like you only can drink one or two, especially if you're drinking.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't see how it's like a dessert drink though. If there's like spices and shit in it, that just sounds
spices doesn't mean heat.
Like nutmeg.
Yeah, like
Stuff
nutmeg
like that.
and anise, like star anise.
Fairies, pubic hair, stuff like that. Like it sparkles.
I had some in coffee last night because we had the Friendsmas party. One of my friends got a pool table, so we were all just hanging out there. And I had some eggnog in coffee, and it was actually pretty fucking good.
You want me to just fucking yell about this stuff? So we're gonna talk about, screw all the family friendly fucking goddamn movies that everyone goes to every year. Let's dive into some Christmas horror movies. Aaron, you want to take it away? But yeah, like everyone goes to the go-tos. I still do. I said at Chelsea tonight after this, I want to just get super fucking stoned, and I want to throw on like maybe Home Alone 2 because we already watched the first one. Because she is not entirely happy that I made her watch a bunch of Christmas horror movies for about like 2 weeks.
Before we get into it, if you could only pick one Christmas movie? It doesn't even necessarily have to be horror. If it's if something else is your choice. If you could only watch one movie every Christmas for the rest of your life,
I'll let Anton go first.
I'm trying to actually
specifically Christmas. It's not just winter themed in general, because winter themed in general, The Thing. Because every big snowstorm we have, I watch The Thing.
I play with my thing when there's a big
play with my thing when there's a little snowy. Fuck. No, that's a good one, because like I want to go on the safe side and say Gremlins, because I watch Gremlins every Christmas.
That's a good choice.
That is a good choice. And it's one I have not watched yet, but I will get into it.
Like ever?
No, I've watched it. I remember watching this when we talk about it, because I think that we should discuss it, considering that this is a Christmas horror movie kind of episode. It's more or less, in my opinion, I think it's more or less a kind of like a special for your guys' shows. Technically, like we'll maybe release it everywhere, but to me, it's kind of like we already did a Krampus like Strange Brew style, and this is kind of like the movie side, the cinema side of.
Oh, I didn't know we were doing classy trash on this one.
A little bit. We'll do a little bit if you would like. But the thing is too, like I I like Home Alone. If I could choose, like
No,
maybe
great, yeah,
maybe
one or
two
two.
of maybe even both of them as like a whole. Because if you can say like, hey, you gotta pick one movie or movie series maybe that you can consistently watch every year. But like I said, that's why I said to Chelsea, I was like, I want to watch some comfort Christmas movies tonight and just get fucking ripped out of my gourd.
So how about this? How about for like what is everyone's group? Like what are your staples for the holidays? So like for me it'd be like Gremlins, Die Hard, American Psycho, Christmas Vacation on Christmas because somebody's inevitably playing it in my family. On either
Chelsea
Christmas
loves
Eve or Christmas Day.
Christmas Vacation also is a very good one.
Oh, I love it.
Which one did you say? And I was like, that's a
American
Oh.
Psycho has a Christmas party in it, so I love the joke that it is a Christmas movie.
It's funny. It's no one I never watch at Christmas. I'm like, I do really enjoy that movie, but it's just one I've never tuned into.
It's one of the few instances where I will say the movie is way better than the book. The book is so fucking boring.
What are you saying, my boy?
Definitely Home Alone 1 and 2 for me. I was trying to think. I was trying to rack my brains for stuff. They're like I've probably seen both of those like probably 200 times each. That for me, I can watch those movies any time of year, really, if I feel like shit. And then especially at Christmas, I'll probably watch that in excess of maybe 5-6 times before Christmas Day.
I have to say though, like, because we're talking about Christmas movies in general, I really do like Elf and the Grinch. Like, if you're stoned as fuck and shit like that, like just having a beer even.
Fantastic.
I have another one that some people see as quite controversial, and it's always part of at least my Christmas ritual is Batman Returns.
Yes.
That's so funny that you watch that every year.
Well, I watch it year round, but that's like I have to watch that around Christmas.
I like that movie for the fact that I think that it is fairly dark. And then I know what I thought would be funny, and I know we always mention what we could do or whatever like that. I would love to do a watch along of Batman Forever.
Oh yeah, I'm down.
Nipples Batman. I would love to it would be funny just to, like, let's have beers and let's get fucking kind of buzzed and
I'll drop
so
all the gay bombs on that one for you because there's
funny.
it was directed by Joel Schumacher, hence the reason Batman looks like a fucking Adonis.
When the nipple thing is
and
why
Uma Thurman is dressed like a drag queen.
I love Batman Forever. I love Batman and Robin.
Yeah, Jim Carrey shit is. Yep. Oh, Batman and Robin. Okay, no, yeah, Batman Forever is the one with Jim Carrey. That would be fun. But I was more or less thinking Batman and Robin 2, just because that's what my first go-to was. Yep. Because it is fucking ridiculous. It's like freeze, and it's like, oh man.
He says chill twice. He uses the same pun twice, 2 times in a row. Batman has a credit card that never expires. Ever. It says forever. Yeah.
There's another scene in that's amazing as well, where they first come across Dr. Freeze or Mr. Freeze, whatever you want to call him. And
Dr. Freeze.
They go on that fucking ice fucking rink thing that's there, and they click their boots together.
And they have skates.
Yep.
I love that.
Yep.
And that's the one I wanted, but I just think like, because we can do whatever the fuck we want with our shows. And I think that people genuinely think that movie is kind of ridiculous and dumb, and people still enjoy it.
No, it's
so to
camp.
do a watch along would be fucking funny.
Yeah,
because I would. There's some shit. I'm like, I watched it like a couple months ago because my brother was watching it, and he's like, "Oh, you should revisit this." And I did really high, and I was like, "This movie is so ridiculous." I forgot. I loved it as a kid though. When it came out, and it was all over the cereal boxes, and it reflected. Liked it a lot.
I forgot about those.
There's a website online. I want to see how you guys pronounce it. It's Rotten something.
Rotten.com, Rotten Tomatoes, Rotten Vagina.
What was the second one you said?
Rotten Tomatoes.
Tomatoes.
Yeah, Rotten Tomatoes.
Do you say tomatoes?
Yeah.
You say Rotten Tomatoes.
Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, it is weird that in your neck of the woods. Do you say? Oh, okay. You're an Irish, pure Irish person, right? How do you say potato?
Potato.
So why is tomato and not potato, and potato is not potato?
Yeah.
And I seen a TikTok or some shit a couple of days ago about that, and I was like, how the fuck? The reason I ask is because earlier on I was looking up their top 100 best Christmas movies of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think it's like, I'm not sure if they'd done it like an overall from all the different reviews or whatever, where would you say Home Alone is on that list?
Out of the top
Ballpark.
100?
Yeah.
For us or for us individually?
No,
or
No,
for
where would you
our
think
guests?
like that it would be rated?
It's either
top
really high
5.
or really fucking low. I feel like it's probably
Number
either
4.
86 or number 4.
Wow, you were incredibly close. It's number 80.
Oh, wow.
What? That still makes no sense. What the? What is like the top 5?
Top 5 is Meet Me in St. Louis
Don't know what that is.
from 1944. Number
Don't know.
2 is The Shop Around the Corner from
Don't know what-
1940.
Don't know what that is.
Number 3 is Miracle on 34th Street from
Okay.
1947.
Boring.
Number 4 is Claws from 2019.
What? What the fuck is that?
And number 5 is A Nightmare Before Christmas.
Of course
Okay, I
it
can see
is.
that.
We'll talk
Die
about that
Hard
too.
is in
'cause
the
it's
top
gotta-
10.
Die Hard? I never watch Die Hard around Christmas. I know there's
Okay,
people that do.
the
but-
entire thing takes place during an office Christmas party. That's number 1. Number 2, the phrase "ho ho ho, now I have a machine gun" is in the fucking movie. I could give 2 shits what Bruce Willis says. Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Didn't he just die?
No, he's just got a
Oh.
disease and he's not working in action.
I saw an
anymore.
article that he died, and people were like, "This is fake," and I'm like, "Yeah," but you never know. And it had a needle beside his neck or something.
Have either of you guys seen the fan theory that Kevin McAllister grew up to be John Kramer?
Really?
John Kramer.
From
Bruce
Jigsaw,
Willis is-
from Saw.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
And
I
there's
heard about
actually
that.
like there's a really interesting obviously it's completely like fake and bullshit, but it was interesting to see people kind of draw the lines between the two. Let me just see if I can pull up some of this. Yeah, like they
that's weird.
basically
I could see it.
Personally, I like to think of Home Alone as a sequel to Chud.
See,
they actually, I think there's even there's some sort of a promo or a clip or something that Macaulay Culkin done a couple of years back. And
Driver.
he made some reference to something to do with Saw. I can't remember exactly
Oh.
what it was he said, but it was obviously he must have read online the theories about it. Yeah, like a lot of people are like, oh, they have the same kind of personality if you track it back through the 2 movies. I think most of the Saw franchise is set in Pennsylvania. And there's a lot of different like ties to the second movie in New York. The fact
Wait,
that
what
he's
is-
afraid of the furnace.
oh yeah.
What does Pennsylvania have to do with Home Alone?
Because that's where Saw, most of the Saw franchise was set, and I can't remember exactly what it was, but they were drawing some lines along something to do with the East Coast, and they had this whole
Okay, yeah,
thing
'cause
like
Home Alone takes place in Illinois. It's a John Hughes film, so it's usually some made-up town in Illinois. Like, Tom, you should know that, Jay and Silent Bob. There is
Yes.
no Shermer, Illinois.
Yes. What do you got? Where do you guys stand on Home Alone 3? Because I actually
I watched it when I was a
do
kid, and I liked
enjoy
it.
I enjoy it. I
It's-
watched it recently, in like 2 weeks ago or something like that, and I like it. I like the fucking when the guy gets hit in the balls, he goes, "Ah!" Whatever scream he does. It made me laugh. But like, and Scarlett Johansson's in that shit when she's young. Like, they attempted to kind of do it well. It's obviously not as good as the first 2 and ever will be, but I still enjoyed it.
I think it had heart. It definitely.
Aaron,
had
what do you
heart.
think? I didn't hear your opinion.
I don't think I can fuck with anything that's not the first 2, and it doesn't have Macaulay Culkin. I just can't. I love them so much. I find it really hard. You know what? I actually found myself enjoying that newest fucking Home Alone shit that they brought out, that like reboot.
You
I
like
didn't see
that,
it.
but you didn't like the third one. I
Well, I
remember
didn't
watched it.
really like it, but I was like, I didn't hate this as much as I thought I was going to. So I was kind of disgusted with
Ah.
myself.
So, you want to start diving into some horror movies, maybe?
Sure. Which what do you want to start with? I don't.
I
Yeah,
think
preference.
I was thinking it was appropriate, maybe, to start with all the Black Christmases, starting with the first one, if that sounds like a good idea.
So I've only ever seen the first one all the way through.
Really?
Yeah, I haven't seen Black Xmas all the way through. I haven't seen
What?
Black Christmas, the newest one, at all.
I will say I think that Black Christmas deserves the praise technically that it does get to an extent, because it was one of the first like slasher films of this like kind of psychopath, and the phone call thing is I think is creepy. That like around Christmas and this kind of dorm thing, like sorority house kind of thing, and you keep getting these calls, and it's just like Billy, like fucking all that Billy shit, like it's me, Billy. I didn't know where that was from. And I have that one sound effect. I don't know if I have it now. And it's just like, it's me, Billy. And I found on my like sound effect. And then Billy's like, where's that from? And I'm like, I don't know. And then I realized it was from Black Christmas. And I was like, that makes sense. Billy's always a psychopath. There's like 2 or 3 Christmas horror movies where the killer is Billy. Silent Night, Deadly Night, his name is Billy. Or the brother's name is Billy. One of them's name is Billy. And then you have Black Christmas, and I feel like there is actually one more. And I'm like, Billy's dancing on a thin line. We never should put him in a Santa costume because he might show up to my house in blood, covered in blood.
I never thought about that.
Fan-made sequel to the original, I think, made last year by a YouTuber called Dave McRae. And I think it's actually titled It's Me, Billy. I kind of flicked through it. I didn't really watch it. It's free on YouTube. Like pretty high production value for what it is. I think they kickstarted it. So like he raised like, I don't know, like $60,000 or $80,000 to shoot it.
Did you watch the new Black Christmas?
No, I didn't.
Really? I didn't like it.
I've heard nothing but horrible reviews.
Same.
I did not like it.
That's Blumhouse, right?
Yeah. Well, it's weird that it's from the same like producers as like Get Out and Halloween.
Yeah, but here's the
Blumhouse.
secret on that. Producers don't really do fucking shit.
I just didn't
put
like
up the money.
it.
That's about it. And then
honestly, I watched it with Chelsea, watched it once, and I don't really remember anything from it. There's no memorable things. It didn't make an impact on me. So I don't even remember really what it was about. How about the original? What's the thoughts on the original Black Christmas?
So I definitely appreciate it for what it is. There's a couple scenes that are like, wow, really well done. And I'm sure that at the time it was considered very unsettling and frightening, but I have seen this in theaters and it still didn't hit the chords.
That's cool that you were able to do that.
Yeah,
that would have been fun for me. I would have liked that. It is slow, as it kind of builds up. I do think it is slightly slow,
I don't
but
really think it even builds up very much, though.
No,
it seems just kind of like it's a slow. Like I get the mood on it. It just I don't know. It's not really my flavor. I like it for what it is, and I appreciate it for what it did for the genre.
yeah.
I'm not a massive fan of it, to be totally honest with you. There's a couple of little scenes.
I'm
like
not a big fan of it
the phone call
either.
scene. I enjoy, but other than that, I don't really care for it at all. Now, I will say that I do, and I know you guys maybe don't agree, but I actually really, from what I remember anyway, I really used to enjoy watching Black Xmas, whatever you want to fucking call it.
And the bits that I've seen, I liked it better than Black Christmas.
Yeah, again, it's not amazing, but I think out of all of them, that's probably my favorite.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think like I agree with you. Like, okay, Black Christmas, the original at the time, I think was unique and different and kind of brought in that slasher franchise, which I love a lot. And so there is merit there, but it is slow and there is boring parts. And it's like it could have been better, but the thing is, it is good for what it is, right? But I agree that I just watched Black Xmas with Chelsea, and it's a fun, creepy, fucking weird movie. That's for sure.
Yeah,
and
like I used to watch that a lot.
I mean, it's still it's good for what it is. It's an early aughts fucking horror movie.
It's fairly creepy, this inbred idea or whatever in the movie, and then she's like crawling through the wall. And okay, I don't understand. Is the sister supposed to, I was like getting confused and stuff. So I was like, what? So is the sister is it a guy dressed up? Like, I don't like, what's the premise behind Aaron? Because I was watching it and I was like getting stoned and having a drink, like, because you probably have watched it more than anyone else. Like, can you take us through the synopsis of what you interpret the film is about?
So there's actually multiple versions of this movie as well, and something I didn't know until recently was that originally, I think when they were coming up with the idea for this, I can't remember the guy's name. Is it Bob Clark or something like that? He originally intended to, I think he had written it as a straight sequel to the original, and I don't know if that's why the movie kind of ended up being the way it was.
Yeah,
Because it
because
was
there's
like a
some
last,
it's weird.
yeah, and it kind of goes all over the
concept.
place. I don't really know. Like, I mean, I've seen multiple versions of this movie. I suppose I'm trying to look up here to see which is like the main version, because there's like 4 or 5 different cuts
Like
of this film.
endings and shit. And
Bob-
Yeah, and like little things that like change it and stuff.
Bob Clark also directed A Christmas Story, did he not?
did he actually? That's
I believe so,
weird.
yeah.
Potentially. Bob.
Look it up. Is it a turkey?
That would be funny.
What is that?
I'll show you. Give me a sec. Yeah.
I genuinely have no idea what the main version is, to be totally honest.
It's weird because I'm like, who's the sister? Why does she look freakish and like almost like it's a aardvark.
Oh my god, that's adorable.
So you like see?
Yeah, I
saw
like
it at
that.
the weed shop and I was like, I want that fucking thing.
Yeah,
It's pretty cool. Yeah, and like it almost reminds me of like Buffalo Bill, but with like a kind of like like it is like kind of like Buffalo Bill, where that's what I took from it. It's this psycho family, and they're inbred, right? Because the mom and dad scene shit is kind of weird. Is that not the premise? Are they not supposed to be like some like inbred?
I'm just looking here. So I was right about that. The movie was co-distributed by Dimension and MGM, and apparently the director and I think the guy who helped write the script, they had numerous disputes with Bob and Harvey Weinstein.
that seems to be the
little girls.
no. That's the song and dance for everyone that's worked with the Weinsteins, though, is that they shoved their fucking faces directly into production and were like, change this. I like this. This was how this would work and shit. Like they were apparently very problematic to work with, both Harvey and Greg.
Yeah, Bob.
Bobby.
Regarding the tone of the script, as well as the film's conclusion, which resulted in numerous rewrites and even reshoots.
Yeah, I
after
was
the
like
fact.
confused.
I know it had a shitload of criticism as well from different religious groups and stuff, because they put like so much kind of gore or implied gore and graphic content into like the holiday season.
And they had the chick from Buffy. They had like
and it was released on Christmas Day.
Was it really? They
Yeah.
had that one chick from Mean Girls, and I said to Chelsea, I was like, she plays the exact same the same character that she played in Mean Girls, pretty much. I thought it was weird when I was watching it. The fucking the boy or whatever, like in like how he's like green, and I'm like, what is he supposed to like? And he's hiding, and like the
He
eye
has like
scenes.
what is it? He's like liver disease or whatever.
Oh no, what's the one that you get when you don't get too much sunlight? Is it rickets?
Jaundice.
Yeah, jaundice is what
Jaundice,
he's supposed to
yes.
have. Yeah, because
Really?
I think he's suffering from some sort of liver disease.
Mhm.
And then I don't know. I suppose he's getting abused by his mother or whatever.
I thought he was like, we were trying to understand that, and I was like, is he some sort of like inbred fucking psychopath kind of shit? Like, I was confused on that.
Yeah, he was one of those characters as well. I feel like, even though there's only a handful of movies around this. I think they kind of made them with the expectation that you like knew, like his whole story. Like I feel like something like Freddy Krueger, Jason, all those big kind of slasher icons, you could kind of just make a movie and you don't really have to explain too much of the backstory.
Yeah.
Whereas like this one kind of, it starts off as if like you're supposed to just know. It's like, oh yeah, Billy. It's like, no, he's not.
I know, because
He's
if you
had
didn't
one movie.
watch what is that thing's fucking sick.
It's a pumpkin.
Really? There's a dope bong I want, and I want to get it eventually. It's from the site that you use, Hemper or whatever.
Hemper?
And it's the fucking jack-o'-lantern. You hit it from the stem, Aaron. It's sick. It looks like a little pumpkin. And then you hit it from the stem. It's got like a jack-o'-lantern. And I just want it for the background, really.
Dude, you know what you should get? You should get one of those little light up cup holder things and put it under it so when you hit it, it lights up.
That would be cool. Yeah, we love smoking weed.
I should buy another bong and then not be able to smoke anything in it.
How do you guys not have weed? I just don't get it. Can't you are you just sketchy about the guy down the street?
Is it still all hash? Like that's
because
the main thing that
I found when it was illegal, we had it all the time.
No, don't get me wrong. It is here, but like it's just such a fucking anything over. They're trying to get something passed right now. I think anything over 4 grams, 3 grams, you'll be okay with. But anything
I was gonna say,
over
I
that,
thought they're gonna arrest you. Like, you guys going back in time?
Yeah, that's what I thought too. It was like, fuck.
It's funny because they,
like
going.
as it stands right now, any form of it at all is illegal.
Well, that's what happened in Canada now because they opened a shroomery in Vancouver and then one in Toronto. And they probably got raided, but they opened one in Hamilton and it got like raided because technically it's still illegal to like purchase them and stuff like that. So I'm not getting it from anywhere. Fairy brings me mine.
But I believe isn't it still legal to like order spores and grow them?
Even that too. And the thing is, they're trying to use it for mental health now. And I do think that they should, like, I would love to work at a shop like that so I could educate people and really tell them the dangers of this and that you have to use it properly and you have to respect the fungus. Cause I have not certain times and it was like, oh, you don't want to respect me. And I went through like crazy trips. Yep. So you got to be kind of careful. But the thing is, I said, we have alcohol everywhere. And people stab each other. So as I said to my dad, because he was talking about it, he's like, it's crazy. Like, he's like, I think weed's a little better and maybe your mushroom stuff. But he's like, alcoholic. And I was like, yeah, they're allowed to sell that shit. People can get drunk as shit and fucking beat their wives wearing a fucking tank top. That's white.
Random.
Going on a tangent.
So before we jump off, Black Xmas.
Yeah.
I always call it Black Christmas, even though that's not the title.
That's what I was doing too.
I'm just looking at more there's actually a whole thing here about like the studio intervention. So they had like multiple disputes with the two Weinstein brothers about the film's tone and the way it should end. The original script ended with Kelly and Leah in the hospital receiving a phone call from Billy, whom they believed to be dead. This scene, Billy, which Morgan filmed, was intended to pay respect to the conclusion of the original film. This ending, however, was scrapped by Bob Weinstein, who requested he write and shoot a completely different ending, and this ultimately resulted in a more violent conclusion that appears in the theatrical cut, which has Billy being impaled on the hospital's Christmas tree topper.
That shit, I was like, holy fuck. Like, it was like one of those early 2000 films, you could just tell,
Mm-hmm.
There was various cuts made during post-production. There are at least 2 different cuts that exist currently, one which was released in Europe and one was released in North America, which feature many variations. The European cut, which is 6 minutes shorter than the North American cut, features an alternative death scene and ending.
I didn't see that one because I watched whatever one was on like Prime or whatever, right? And it reminds me very much of like House of Wax and all these other movies and like obviously A Stranger Calls and that early 2000s.
Yeah, it has that feel.
House of Wax, you mean the remake of Tourist Trap?
Yeah, that's a good. Both are good. I actually like House of Wax. Like,
I enjoyed it as well.
And I've like, wow, like this is like actually fairly good.
It's just one of those movies that should have just been called Tourist Trap, but Tourist Trap wasn't a popular enough name at the time, so you had to call it House of Wax because it's not a remake of House of Wax.
You are a horror boy, man. Your whole body's just gonna be horror art.
Yeah,
you're gonna have to get on your face. Can you get? I got an idea for you, right? I got a great idea. I don't think it's been done. I think it will make you famous. Can you tattoo your face to look like Freddy Krueger, like the whole shebang?
I would probably do that.
It'd be fucking awesome.
I do want the tattoo here.
Yeah.
I know that
Chelsea's like,
probably
you
makes
can't go
me.
past your neck, and I was like, oh, but I want to.
I want one here, and I know that probably makes me like extremely unemployable in nearly every avenue.
I'm gonna have myself tattooed with a bunch of my podcast shit. I want to get the original symbol tattooed. I want it to look like a sticker, like where it's like one of those designs where this looks like a fucking
That'd be
sticker.
cool.
I will probably get the bong one with us eventually. Like stuff like I think that's fuck. I don't give a shit. I'll be an old man like I used to do a podcast. All right. So I liked Black Xmas compared to the original,
Yeah.
and the new one I thought was awful in my opinion. I remember even saying, Chelsea, I don't remember much about it now, but I remember being like, I didn't like that. Like,
Yeah, I just had no interest in even watching that. And Blumhouse has been notorious in the last couple of years as well for, I know they don't make them, but like putting their name on things. The problem I find with them now is I think they're hearing keywords and going, yeah, let's put our name on that. So like when
Yeah.
you hear something like Black Christmas, I'm sure somebody's sitting there going, you know what, that's probably some untapped potential and nobody's really made that many movies. Let's put our name on that. Like they're
Mhm.
doing the Exorcist trilogy now, which I think is going to go down.
I think that's
Well,
not
David
David
the
Gordon
toilet.
Green, right? David Gordon Green is attached to not only that, but the Hellraiser series, and they're both going to be dog shit.
So
Did you
that
see
worries
that
me.
they've, which is really weird. I don't know if it's like a market ploy or whatever, but the production for Exorcist has been shut down until late January due to health concerns. And then I think all the media outlets went wild on it, and they were like, no, everything is all good. We were going to break up for Christmas anyway, so we're just doing it a little bit early. So I don't know how. Yeah.
I'm like worried about what they're gonna kind of fucking like. You know, I thought Anton, you were right, 100%. Halloween End was horrible. So to see like them trying to like shift into these certain areas that they don't necessarily need to, and it's
So here's
How
the
many
thing with
franchises
Halloween
can we ruin?
Ends.
Man.
If you would have taken Halloween Ends and made it the second one, or you would have not called it Halloween, you would have cut out the
Yeah.
whole Michael Myers thing
Yeah,
and just had the Corey story.
could have been good.
Boom. I'm on
Yeah.
board. All of that would have been great.
I
But
agree.
it didn't feel like it was supposed to be the end of Laurie versus Michael. And
Yeah.
and to me, H2O is a better conclusion for Laurie v. Michael.
We should all scream about it sometime on a fucking podcast. But like I would like this is one I've never seen, and you know, and I Anton was like, it's a little sad, but I did enjoy it, and it's one I did make Chelsea watch, which
Evil?
was yes, Christmas Evil.
We should be warning people too. There will be spoilers for some of these. So if you haven't seen them,
100%.
shut it off and go watch them.
Christmas Evil.
So this is the only scene that I'm like, what the fuck? Not to yuck somebody's yum, but the mommy and Santa Claus scene, I was like, oh, okay.
That's a big thing, man. If you watch a lot of 80s porn, which I don't, but like there's a lot of like weird fucking taboo style like shit. And for some reason in the 80s, they love the whole fucking mommy and son weird shit like that. You can see in tons of like well-known 80s porn movies, and it's like fucking weird.
Interesting.
Yeah. I don't know why I know that, but I do.
Why do you know?
But like I watched this, and it is it's a sad, but like I actually liked it. Like I thought it was like it's creepy and it's weird, and it's like you see a man essentially break down and lose his fucking mind.
Yep.
And it's it's fun, and I'm there for it. Aaron, what's your thoughts on it?
When you think about it, right, I was just like, if you look at the plot for the movie, and I never really thought about it as like, I don't think as plain as they put it here. A toy factory worker mentally scarred as a child upon learning that Santa Claus is not real, suffers a nervous breakdown after being belittled at work, and embarks on a Yuletide killing spree. There is no way, right, that you would get away with even, I don't think, pitching that to someone now.
No, and he loses his fucking mind. And it seems like it's a lot of that. And when we get into like Silent Night, Deadly Night, it's kind of the same thing. But the tone of this movie was just kind of fucking creepy and weird. And the scene that with the kids all around him and shit like that is like fairly okay. I was like Christmas Evil, and this is why I wrote down like a little note about this movie. I was like, what's with the mud face kiss? Question mark. When he like kisses like the fucking window or whatever, with
Yeah.
his like mud all over his face. I was like, what is this shit about? It's like wiping fucking fecal matter on his face. I'm like,
I wondered the same thing, and I was like, I assumed it was either him marking the house to come back to it later, or it was some sort of like maybe some Christmas tradition that his family would do, where it's like, oh, Santa
So
Claus touched the side of the house because
Oh,
he was
yeah.
too drunk. He fell and you know, I don't know.
Somebody,
That's
there's somebody very famous that has this marked as like their favorite.
John Waters. It is John Waters'
What?
favorite Christmas film. Yes.
Are you
Christmas Evil.
serious?
I'm dead ass. Yes.
That's kind of fun. It is like I think it's out of all the Christmas horror movies I've seen, I think it's one of the creepier, scarier tone without really like there's not like big jump scares or like crazy kills or anything like that. It's just like kind of the tone and even kind of the cheapness of the film. And
It has a very real-ish feel to it when it's very gritty because it's low budget. So I didn't realize, but I've seen this twice. I watched it when it was on Joe Bob. I think it was last year's Halloween or holiday horror thing. And then I just saw it a couple weeks ago at Thursday Night Terrors as well on the big screen.
Oh, you did? That is that would have been fun. See, I love I've never seen those like 80s movies in theaters because they don't really do it that often around where I'm at. And you have
That's
to
such a
drive
shame
pretty far.
because it's the best. You should try and organize it. Like
it would be so
make
much fun
friends with
because
somebody
I
in the
love
theater
that
and pitch
shit.
the idea. It's great.
Because
And
I want to watch the original Friday 13th. Like I want there's certain even like big time movies. I would love to just have that feel of being in the theater and it's I want it. When I hear you do it, it just makes me fucking I don't know. I wish I could be able to do that. You know what? It makes my
penis is tingling right now.
That's my Terrors' family pin right there.
Oh man.
Did you know, and this might be interesting maybe for a little Patreon episode or a mini-sode or something like that. So the Children's Hospital and the news report that it was about was actually based on the real life Willowbrook State School in New York, where children were kept in deplorable conditions for years until an investigative journalist exposed the state of the hospital, which led to its subsequent closure 15 years later.
It's the same hospital they based American Horror Story Asylum on.
Willowbrook, The Last Great Disgrace from 1972. Interesting.
It's New York as well, right? I believe that's the Cropsey Hotel or hospital.
Oh, right. Oh, it is. Yeah,
so,
you're right.
yeah, that's the
Willowbrook.
Cropsey
Yeah, you're right. It is.
I thought it was creepy and like that's one I made Chelsea watch it. And
I've seen that. I've seen that documentary or whatever it is. That is fucked.
The Cropsey one?
What?
No, that Willowbrook, The Last Great Disgrace. They show clips from it in that Cropsey documentary, and it is fucked.
Sad.
Are you talking about the one where Geraldo Avero goes in?
Yes, I believe so. That's the one where the kids are like chained to the radiator and like everyone's just in their own filth. It's heartbreaking.
Yeah, that's my go-to in my spank bank. I'm fucking kidding. Okay?
I really wish that you had the fucking bump.
Fucking hell.
All I want, Santa Claus, is 2 fat bitches and a bag of weed and 2 bags of chips to get her to the fat bitches.
Also, another random pointless fact that I remember picking up from, I managed to get the Arrow DVD release of that years ago, and it was out of print and everyone was looking for it. And I think the only piece of information that I ever retained from listening to the commentary was all the snow that you see in that movie. They had a dude employed who would cut up white plastic bags into small pieces, and that's what all the snow falling and shit was.
Oh, that's environmentally sound.
That's fucking funny.
I'm sure that didn't cause the death of a ton of wildlife. Oh my.
That's fucked. I don't know. It was a crazy. I liked it. I thought it was creepy. The vibe was there for, you know, it's a movie I wouldn't have liked to watch when I was. I think if I watched it when I was like 13, 14, it would have scared me even more. Because I think that like the idea of just some random guy snapping and walking around as Santa and shit. And then kids are like, "Oh my god, it's Santa!" And he like fucking football kicks them in the fucking head and shit. And it's just like,
Dude, and it did the Birdman ending like decades before Michael Keaton ever did it.
fuck Michael Keaton. I don't know if he's a bad person, but I don't like Jack Frost. He's fucking sad.
There's only one Jack Frost, okay? As far as I'm concerned.
That's a good segue. That is a good segue. Let's talk quickly about Jack Frost.
You do actually, Tom, not to cut you off, you do look like someone, though, who could be in one of those movies.
Oh, yeah.
With that fucking wig and hat and everything. You do look
Chelsea
quite freakish.
she's like, call me Gustavo or something like that.
Give us your best Kubrick stare.
Ooh, that was really close to another word.
Yeah.
Gustavo? The Gestapo. What she called me like Gustav or something like that. Like, and I was like, that's funny.
Hello, Gunther. Are you being good boy today, or have you been naughty?
So the premise of that movie that you're going to star in is you out of your mind on mushrooms, having some sort of a wild trip, and then you just start killing everyone.
Well,
you got a bad batch of mushrooms, and you watch too many Christmas movies, and you got yourself all in the holiday spirit, and you're dressed all up, and then you're like, naughty list, and you just go out, and the mushrooms somehow have given you
superpowers,
invulnerability to pain. Yeah.
That it's funny because that's going to be next year's Christmas special. Is actually the idea that Christmas comes from magic mushrooms.
Oh, I love that one, dude. We should all dress up as like horror movie Santas for next year's.
Yeah, there's tons of stuff coming, and that's I was debating on doing it this year, but I was like, let's do Krampus. Let's just get back into Krampus knock and stuff like that. But I think that will be a lot of fun.
Is your sweater a little more comfortable today?
It is, because I opened the window. I was dripping in sweat fucking wearing this. And obviously I was running around trying to set up everything for the Christmas special and get it all done. And then like Billy came, and then I was like wearing like this and like fucking a wig, you know. I was like, I'm fucking dying. And then the mushrooms, I did like a P8, and they kind of like, I was like, oh, these are stronger than I thought they were. And then I was like, it makes your fucking, sometimes the regulation of heat in your body, it changes. So you're either sweat, you get cold, or you sweat and stuff like that. And I was like, oh god, fucking run around like a maniac. It was fun though. I'm glad I picked out the Santa costume. I was gonna almost dress up like Krampus, like kind of a Santa Krampus, but that could be another day. I'm gonna dress up like a snowman next year. That'd be so hard to do. Fucking murdering snowman. Honestly, like, I think, right, you're going to release the commentaries before this, right? Is the plan? So you guys, and if you guys are tuning into the live or anything like that, for sure, there's going to be a double feature that we did of Jack Frost and Ginger Dead Man, which we'll get to Ginger Dead Man maybe after this. But I think that it should be mentioned because it's a fun movie. Are you counting
that as a Christmas movie?
Ginger Dead Man?
How is Ginger Dead Man a Christmas movie?
He's a fucking gingerbread man.
It doesn't.
When
take
else
place
do you
during
eat
Christmas?
Gingerbread?
Anytime someone makes gingerbread.
I don't know, man. It's a Christmas movie because.
Okay, I want to hear your argument when we get to it.
All right, but I like Jack Frost. I thought it was ridiculously stupid. I remember always seeing this picture at the Blockbuster. Like, and me and my buddy would always see it. And I feel like I may have watched it, but I barely remembered it. When me and Aaron watched it, I was like, I think it's ridiculous, but.
Was it Jack Frost 1 or 2 that had the cover that had the hologram on it? That when you moved, it went from Snowman to that one.
That was this one. It was the first one.
I miss those days of VHS covers.
Yeah.
Those were like, dude. Oh.
I think I had one of Ice Cream Man that might have done that, to be honest.
With the Clint Howard Ice Cream Man?
The fuck is Ice Cream Man?
Horror legend Clint Howard?
You don't know what Ice Cream Man is?
No.
Dog. Okay. We gotta make a segment called Tom's a Virgin and just show him a bunch of really fucked up movies and then like record his commentary. I know we want to do that with Eraserhead. I want to do that with Pink Flamingos. I'm gonna do that for like commentaries and shit for
House of Trash. We talked
about. I might put that on the Patreon for House of Trash, but
there's some like seeing I watched a lot of the surface level stuff and some of the darker shit, but it was mostly of what we just kind of saw on the shelf at like this movie store Flicks or Blockbuster, right? So I do think Ginger Dead Man is 100% a Christmas movie because he's a gingerbread man. It's in a bakery, and I don't know anyone that eats gingerbread man other than at Christmas. Am I
I'm
right?
sure you have you'll get a ton of people that'll back you up on that. So I'm not.
Aaron, is it a Christmas movie or not?
I never really thought about it until you had this argument right now. I would have just assumed it is just because of I would always associate gingerbread with Christmas, but I mean, interesting.
I am the smartest man alive.
I mean, you're right. I would say that the normal time that gingerbread is consumed is Christmas. So I don't have a rebuttal.
All right, what's up next? Did you guys watch All the Creatures Were Stirring? Because I did.
I feel like I've seen this one, but not recently enough to pull any of it to memory.
Have you seen it, Aaron?
Yeah, I think so, but I was trying to.
I liked it.
Yeah, I don't really remember too much about it, to be honest.
Give us the rundown.
I think it's all because I was doing stuff while I was watching.
It's an anthology, right?
But yes, and there's all these different stories, and there's like a fun one where like they're in an office party, and they at the beginning, and they get like a call, and then one guy opens a present and like fucking shoots him in the head, and then like it's a saw kind of setup where they like make them open all these different gifts, and then something happens, either they like get murdered or like some sort of creature might come out. I think that
Sounds really familiar.
It was fun. Like I liked it. And then there's like stuff about like these shadow creatures that come every Christmas, and you have to like transfer your curse essentially to somebody else. Like it's low budget for sure. Like it looks like it was shot for a couple $100. It's probably like thousands, but
it definitely was because
Yeah.
one thing I do remember, and it's not because I remember being like, how is this affiliated with them? But it's actually not. That office scene you're talking about, that whole thing was shot in Blumhouse's like office space.
Really?
And I was like, wait a second. I was like, please don't tell me they have anything to do with this. I'm sure they wouldn't like put their name on something like this low budget. But it just turns out I think somebody knew somebody and was like, you know what? You can have our closet for the afternoon.
And I do apologize.
We're writing
but
it off on the taxes.
I forgot about one thing I wanted to mention about Evil Christmas is the fucking long ass scene of him trying to get into the chimney. I had that written down because I was like,
yeah.
this like takes him so long just to get down the chimney and figure out. He's like, and even Chelsea was like, this is like really long, drawn out. And I'm like, just trying to get, how do I get into a chimney? And you're too fat, and you're like, fuck. Because I thought that because it was kind of like realistic. Yeah, I don't know. There's like, I don't know. But I got what else do you want to talk about? I got how about Silent Night, Deadly Night, because that was a good one. I think we should just quickly mention for a commentary we did watch Santa's Sleigh. Some people liked it, some people didn't. It's okay. But I liked it, and out of all the Christmas movies I watched this year, I will say this one was the most fun.
Do you know there's to go back to Christmas Evil, there is a audio commentary with the director and John Waters.
Ooh, that actually sounds fairly interesting.
I need to listen to this now.
I didn't know about that.
That sounds kind of fun. Yeah, so what do you guys think about Santa's Sleigh? Is it a go-to? Because I only saw it for the first time.
I'm mad that the version that we watched didn't have the "who's next" part in it.
See, I don't know, and I even asked my brother. I was like, "Have you seen this?" Because he's like a huge wrestling fan, and he's like, "No," and I was like, "You should watch it, man. It's
Dude, I
fucking funny."
love Santa's Sleigh. It is so much fun. It's goofy.
Over the top.
It's never to be taken seriously. He spears somebody through a deli counter. Like
It's so
fucking
good.
10 out of 10, bud. Way to go. Well done. Fran Drescher, Chris Kattan, like.
Yeah, just for the 5 seconds, and that the ending, the beginning of when he like kind of comes through the chimney and like fucking hoofs that dog out of the way and shit. Like,
yeah, the cleaning of the stripper pole, where he's like, actually, at the Arctic pole, time is relative and it doesn't matter, so it's pretty much all subjective. So it's not midnight, and I'm still good to go.
that's what I said. I was like, "What's happening?" I was like, "Why is he like?" And it's like getting into the lore of like how the lore was deeper than I thought. When you started telling me about for the people that like maybe won't watch the commentary or like hear it or see it or whatever like that, maybe tell them like a little bit about Santa's Sleigh.
Okay, so the plot is basically Santa, played by Bill Goldberg, is the son of the devil, so the Antichrist effectively. There were two immaculate conceptions. He was one of them. So, the grandfather in this, spoilers ahead. The grandfather in this is actually the angel who imprisoned him into a life of servitude where he had to go deliver presents to everybody. And this came about through a curling match that Santa lost. So eventually at one point you get a stop motion animation description of this story.
I like that part a lot, actually.
So I'm saying, it's like, are you looking for an Oscar-winning film? Then this is not your forte. But if you love camp and you enjoy holidays, Santa Sleigh, baby. And the whole thing was written and made essentially to be a parody of Christmas through the eyes of Jewish people.
Yeah, because I was like,
is a
I said
monstrosity
that
of a
when we were
holiday,
watching.
like because of the consumerist aspect of Christmas and the fact that every year it continues to take up more and more and more of the fucking calendar. Christmas belongs in December, goddammit, and I will die on this fucking hill.
I also agree, because it will be October 28th, and then you go into like a dollar store or some shops or like decor shops, and it'll be Christmas fucking everywhere. And it was funny when we did Krampus, Aaron, Billy's like, stop trying to Halloween-y eyes or whatever the fuck he said. Christmas, because I was like, Krampus, like the festivals and stuff sound like a lot of fun.
Dog, Krampus is the reason for the season as far as I'm concerned.
So would you guys agree then with the statement? That same statement goes for, Halloween shit being around in like August.
No, that can be around in May.
So I would say if you're going Halloween themed and you're putting up something that says like Happy Halloween or whatever, sure. But for me, and I'm sure for you similarly, Halloween decor is year-round decor inside the house. But I don't think that Halloween shit should be out everywhere in stores until October. Although I will give you this,
maybe end of September.
Let's make a concession here. Let's make a truce between Halloween and Christmas once and for all. Let's say Christmas, if we're going by rules of American consumerism, you can start on Black Friday. Okay? The moment Thanksgiving is over, it's your game until the end of Christmas. Okay? But as long as you make room for the other religious holidays, cool, whatever. But Halloween, we get last week of September, starting through October. That's your
I
your
agree
junction for
with
stores.
that, because it's not like they start that early, but
no, they do. Like at one point in time, Halloween shit was out in August in stores out here, and I was like, "You're devaluing it. You're turning it into Christmas," and it hurts. It hurts my cold, spooky black heart to see shit out that early.
I want it to be out all year round. Just make everything a horror movie. Life can be a horror movie, but just nobody gets killed.
It is already.
It is.
Yeah, it is. It is technically. It is. All right. So like we've go back and listen to those because we kind of rated Santa's Sleigh. I feel like, have you guys ever seen this? Because I have not.
Yes.
It actually looked fairly good.
This is the original Home Alone.
Rare Exports.
Or no, that's not the original
Christmas
Home Alone.
Tale.
This is where they dig up Santa Claus who's been frozen in the Arctic for
That
forever.
sounds so fun. Why didn't I fucking watch this?
Watch it. It's on Shudder, I believe.
That sounds fucking fun.
I was thinking of the other one, that's the French one with a killer Santa that came out before Home Alone, that for some reason the name is escaping me. What the fuck was the name of that one?
Aaron, have you seen it? Really?
Which one now?
Rare Exports.
No, I've always heard of it, and I was just always kind of like, cause isn't that like a Finnish movie or something like that?
Oh, you're like me. You don't like reading subtitles.
You know what's weird, right?
I refuse reading subtitles. I really do. And I refuse watching movies that are dubbed over, because there's some movies like that giant movie that's on Netflix that's about the giant.
Oh yeah.
But
it
looks good, but it has the dub over and it ruins the entire movie for me. Even if it's the greatest movie on earth, I'll be like, fuck this.
So there's a French film called Dial Code Santa Claus, and it's from 1989, and that is the film that Home Alone allegedly borrowed heavily.
What's it called? Dial? Oh, I found it. Dial Code
Santa Claus. It's amazing. Watch it.
Weird.
It's French though, so watch it with subtitles.
When I was looking up, stuff, I saw pictures of this film.
It's a Christmas movie about a kid who basically defends his home while dressed as Rambo from a killer Santa Claus, because his grandfather is like paraplegic, or I believe he might have Alzheimer's or something.
Can they do this movie in English?
It's from France in 1989. It's so fucking good. Code Pierre Noël.
Do they have it in an English version where it doesn't look like shit?
Oh, that's right. I forgot. You have a lifelong hatred of the French.
Yeah. No, only I don't. Well, I could. Yeah, I've heard things about the Frenchies over in France, but I have a problem with Quebec, not with fucking actual French people.
I don't know, man. What did I learn from Trey Parker and Matt Stone? What did we learn? French Canada is the only Canada, and if you lived there for a day, you'd understand.
Yeah, because that's what Trudeau fucking thinks. Fucking drink. So
why doesn't he become Prime Minister of Montreal then, and they secede? Would that make you happy?
I said I would love to just take a massive saw, like one of those, like, you know, make it a 2-guy saw,
Looney Tunes
and just
saw where,
and
like,
just cut the fuck
Bunny
and then kick them into the fucking Antarctic Ocean or whatever is above us. And people hate me for that, but hey, you guys are the most brainwashed out of any of the provinces. I'm sorry, but it's 1,000% fucking true.
That's okay. Our Montreal
cried about
listeners like
horns and said that horns gave you PTSD. So fuck off. All right. Anyways, what are we getting to next? What's next? I'll bring up movies that I have not seen, and then we'll get more into some of more of the famous ones and stuff like that. But I've never seen Red Snow. Technically, I guess you could consider it.
Is it a vampire movie?
You never seen it either?
No.
It's one of those. I think it's a foreign film. It's about vampires. I've never seen it. It got brought up a lot when we were talking about all these different Christmas horror movies and stuff like that.
Do you know what's really weird, right? I'll watch movies that are in English with subtitles.
Yeah,
but sometimes if a movie is like supposed to be really good and I have to read subtitles while I enjoy it and it's in a different language, I'm like, wow, I can't, my brain for some reason can't, like, I can either enjoy the movie and not know really what's going on, or I can read all the subtitles and know everything about the dialogue, and then everything else just goes.
Yeah, our brains work the same way. Have you guys seen Puka? I kind of heard about it. And
That's one of the After Dark Presents ones, right?
I think so. And the Puka is like, it's a cryptid. It's like a real fucking lore.
An Irish.
Wait, you want to talk
I
about
have
that?
seen that one then. Yeah, I might have watched that last.
I like Puka all the time.
Nice.
Last.
I see. I've never seen that one. I actually, I'm doing a lot of, just first times. So I did watch Silent Night.
Fucking love that movie.
Actually,
Still have to see it.
Really enjoyed it.
I love that costume.
Me too. Can you get the synopsis or read your impression of how this film kind of goes? Because the mask is fucking sick. If I could get that mask for even for a special and you could able to talk.
I know at one point, I don't know if they still do it, Trick or Treat Studios done a full costume mask, the full suit, and the axe.
That's fucking sick.
Mm.
I liked it. You never seen it, Anton?
Nope. I'm watching that this year, and then a couple other ones that I haven't seen yet.
It's fun.
So it follows a Santa-dressed killer on the loose on Christmas Eve. When Deputy Jordan goes AWOL, Deputy Bradamore, planning on spending Christmas Eve with her parents, is forced to fill in for him by Sheriff Cooper. They stop by the church. What is this? Some bullshit fucking synopsis.
Yeah, it's a long one. So he loses his mind.
the police force of a remote Midwestern town search for a killer Santa Claus who is picking off citizens on Christmas Eve. That's a more simple fucking streamlined version. Really good.
Malcolm McDowell is in it.
Malcolm McDowell's in it. Is he in a bit part, or is he like in a big
he's
role?
like the sheriff. He does what he does in fucking Halloween, kind of.
Do you remember our Vampires in Film? One of the first ones that we all did together.
Right? Which one? Oh, the Vampires, yeah.
The Vampires in Film one. Have you seen Suck yet?
That comedy movie?
Yeah.
It's so funny. Love
the
it.
one where they're in a band and Malcolm McDowell's in it?
No. I thought you were talking about, like, I don't even give a shit.
Vampires Suck?
Yeah, love it.
That one's silly. Yeah.
So fucking funny when he drives the fucking thing with the what's that called? With you fucking rich people, bald people drive around.
Oh, the Segway?
The Segway, and you just like you think he's floating and then he appears on the Segway. I don't even care. That movie, when I first watched it, I actually laughed fairly hard because as much as I don't want to admit it, I watched the Twilight movies. So they like made fun of all the little quirky, dumb things in the fucking movies and shit. And I was like, I like it.
Malcolm McDowell is in Suck, and they do flashbacks to him as a younger person, and all they did was they superimposed his head over a body, but it was like shots of him from Clockwork Orange. You need to watch it. You'll love it. Just for that scene alone, you'll love it.
That's fucking awesome.
Here's something I didn't know about Silent
Yeah.
Night, that it's partially inspired by a real life.
We covered that on our Christmas Crimes episode. Actually, go
Which
back
one
and check
was
that
it?
out.
Which one
The
is it based
flamethrower
on?
one.
Oh, is it? Is that
Yeah.
the one?
The one.
Is his
the-
name Jeff Pardo? What's it?
Yep.
What's it? Is it?
Yep.
Oh, that's fucking crazy.
Yep. Go back to our Wolf and the Bull Strange Brew.
That's
swapcast.
the one you read with inspiration.
That's the one that I read like this, like I was selling a home in California.
It was fucking really funny.
Oh, the other one that I was reading was the one about the family back in the 1800s.
And since we're talking about Silent Night, let's talk about Silent Night, Deadly Night.
So I've seen Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 more recently than I've seen 1, but I know that it's more or less the,
2
they,
is
they
fucking...
do the don't they do the Evil Dead treatment where they just basically recap the entire first film in the first half of
Yeah,
Silent Night, Deadly Night 2?
I've seen Silent Night, Deadly Night like at least like I don't know, 3 or 4 times, and then when 2, I watched 2 this year for the first time, and I was like editing the podcast, doing stuff, and I said to Chelsea, I was like, why is this one? I was like, it is just showing the first fucking movie for literally the first 45 movies. I'm like, what the fuck, man?
Go back to that last poster you had up.
Oh, the one where he looks like he's like a Mexican?
No, he looks like Carlton from The Fresh Prince.
Yeah, he does actually. Weird.
No, I laughed at that one, but like, I think like this movie is, I think it's fairly creepy, and I liked it. And he kind of like slowly, like he's like just snapping. What are you guys' thoughts? Especially Aaron, because I'm sure that have you seen this one quite a bit?
Yeah, I haven't actually watched it in quite a few years, but I used to watch it a lot. This is, I don't know if you mentioned earlier about the whole Billy thing, but yeah, this is another.
Yeah, another kid, guy named Billy. I fucking knew it. See, and like,
what's that about?
You got to watch out for Billy, man. The one day we're gonna be doing a podcast, and then you're just gonna see him come from off the scene, and I'm gonna be fucking decapitated.
He's gonna enter in a Santa suit. Be like, no, we told you no Santa suits, Billy. No.
Again, like it has a pretty basic plot, as I think most of these Christmas killer Santas do.
100%.
The story follows little Billy, who witnesses his parents getting killed by Santa after being warned by his senile grandfather.
Fucked.
Yeah, that is a bit. After being warned by his senile grandfather that Santa punishes those who are naughty. Now Billy is 18 and out of the orphanage, and he has just become Santa himself.
Isn't he getting like beat by the nuns in the orphanage as well in the beginning or whatever?
Yeah. It's
again, another one of those movies you just couldn't make. No.
Yeah,
no.
Big time.
It is, and he like kind of snaps on this, like, you know, he's like, if you're like it's like almost like a Jason trope where, you know, when they're like having sex, he kind of like busts in and fucking, you've been naughty, and then like he knocks out Santa in one scene, which is fucking awesome. I liked it. Like I remember I must have watched it when I was a kid, but I kind of didn't really remember it. And then I watched it a couple years ago, and I was like, it's like, because you always see that iconic image of when you talk about any Christmas horror movie, is the axe coming out of the chimney. Because I remember seeing that as a kid, young, because I was always like looking into horror movies, and it is like this beginning scene is kind of brutal because Santa Claus like rapes and kills his family essentially, and he just has to watch it all, and then it kind of gets associated where it's like Santa Claus is like in his head, kind of he needs to serve justice in some way, where he's like, or like it's almost like when the molestes, when, you know what I mean? The molester turns the molested becomes the molestor. You know,
it basically turns him into what he believes is a mercy or missionary killer. Then what would be classified as like somebody who's killing for good in their mind.
Yeah.
This
movie was originally known as Sleigh Ride, and this is a weird fact that I didn't know.
Did they spell it like SLAY? Sleigh Ride.
Yeah.
Oh,
of course they did.
I love it.
It opened on the same weekend as A Nightmare on Elm Street in 1984, and it was briefly outgrossing the movie by around $162,000, since this movie was playing in more than twice as many theaters as Nightmare on Elm Street, before the gross fell about 45% in the second weekend, before eventually being pulled from theaters due to picketing from angry parents who were not happy to see Santa Claus depicted as an axe murderer.
Oh, cry me a river.
Despite the fact that Tales from the Crypt in 1972 had done the same thing 12 years earlier,
Yep.
Christmas Evil in 1980 had done it.
Yep.
As a result, the box office receipts plummeted once it was pulled from theaters after only 2 weeks, and the film was shelved for another year before it was finally
such a
released
whole-
on VHS uncut, which to this day is still extremely rare and out of print.
So Mickey Rooney was one of the people, one of the biggest voices
Yep.
against Silent Night, Deadly Night, and then eventually, I think it was 4, Silent Night, Deadly Night
5.
4, 5.
Yeah.
He is the starring murdering Santa Claus.
How
There's a-
many fucking movies of this shit is there?
There was an interview where someone like called him out on that, and I think he tried to pass it off by saying like it wasn't originally called Silent Night, Deadly Night 5, The Toy Maker. He was like, the movie I signed up for was just called The
There he
Toy
is, right
Maker.
there.
Where?
That's such a cop out right there. Click that one. There's Mickey Rooney in the
Oh, weird.
right there.
They have that fucking weird guy.
That's Clint Howard.
Yeah, what's he off
that is
of
horror
I'm thinking?
icon Clint Howard,
That's so funny.
star of Tits.
So how many? There was
Star
5
of Ice
of
Cream
these?
Man, Nipples, and Little Nicky. You got the wrong window
Oh,
again, man.
yeah. What's the one where he's like really dumb? Like, what am I thinking? Where he's like just like a pure idiot.
Oh, you're thinking of Waterboy.
Oh, yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
what you would call a smart man.
Yeah, weird. I did not know there were so many of these. Which one's 3 called? Let's look. Oh yes, I
Better
remember
Watch
this cover. I remember this cover. Better watch out. Which
Oh, it's
we can
Bill
talk
Moseley.
about that next. To
That's
segue
fucking
into
that's
that.
Bill Moseley. There you go, Clint Howard.
Why does he have like a fucking big lobster thing? Some sort of
It's a.
Whatever.
I swear to God, that's from like Ticks, but it's not.
fucking weird. These ones like weird. It's just crazy how it's just crazy how like how like in the slasher film franchise. the
Whoa,
fuck
look at
is
that
this
giant fucking Clockwork Orange dick nose.
about? What is that about? But have you seen it? All of these, Aaron?
I wouldn't say like properly. There
Yeah.
are those kind of movies that like I would put on and I might like actually see like 2 scenes.
Dude, I'm watching Silent Night, Deadly Night 4. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, that looks fucking weird. I kind of dig how weird it looks.
4 has Bill Moseley and Clint Howard.
I think so.
How the
Yeah,
fuck
that's what
have
it
I
looks
not
like.
seen this?
Yeah, weird. It looks like that's so fucking crazy. There's so many of them. 5 of them, which is kind of crazy for like what it was about. Because the second one was primarily just like the same fucking story for like half of it. The second one's fucking weird. That's crazy. We can segue into considering we mentioned Better Watch Out. Better Watch Out. What do you guys think? Do you guys like it? I watched it last night.
I can't
probably my
remember
second
Anything
viewing.
about that movie?
When I first saw it, I really enjoyed it actually.
I liked it.
And so much so, I think I recommended it to somebody. I can't remember. I remember watching it again, and I felt like it was one of those situations, where you recommend something, and you're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, dude, you have to see this," blah blah blah, and then we sit down to watch it, and like the other 2 or 3 people are like,
I liked
Tom,
it.
can you give us a rundown of this one?
So essentially, you get this idea like she comes to babysit him. You can kind of tell that he's kind of in love with her, and then spoiler alert for everybody.
"So good."
You think that you think that that something's going on, something creepy, somebody's outside, and that you don't really know who it is. And his buddy's there for a bit, and then he leaves, and then you don't really know who this villain is. And then there's a great scene where they're hiding in a closet, and she notices that the killer, the person stalking around with the shotgun, you start to see that he looks kind of short, and he's wearing the same mask that the kid actually has. And then it's like, oh, and then she opens the closet door, realizes that him and his friend have set this up to make him kind of look like a hero, so she will fall in love with him. And it gets fucking crazy because then you kind of like, you get this sense that this kid is fucking psycho when he kind of like knocks her out and then ties her up and stuff like that. And you're like, oh shit, like he's like madly in love with her. It's
What the
What do you-
fuck?
Yeah, what do you think about it, Aaron? Tell us. Like, I mean, that was a horrible breakdown.
No, that
But-
like it's not really like you've pretty much hit the nail on the head. I actually really enjoyed it, to be honest.
I watched it the second viewing because I know I watched it with Chelsea a year or two ago.
What year did
And,
this come out?
2016, I want to say.
Okay.
15,
I
16,
thought
something
it
like
was
that.
2000. Yeah, 16. You're right.
It's been referenced as Home Alone inverted on its head, filtered through the lenses of Patrick Bateman and Norman Bates in a darkly comic thriller that is disturbingly good.
It has Patrick Warburton and Virginia Madsen in it. All right, I'll watch it.
And this scene, so I'm gonna spoil it for you, sorry, but this scene is fucking crazy. He ties up her like boyfriend, and then they have this whole debate about what would happen in Home Alone when they get hit with the paint cans. Him and his friend.
I've
this
seen that
kid.
scene where they
Yeah.
drop it over and it just kills the dude or whatever.
Yeah, and he first time he misses, and then they tell him to put a blindfold on, and then his head gets smashed in, and he's like, he's all excited about it, and you like it's weird because it is like this Patrick Bateman kind of like psycho fucking kid that seems to think he gets away with everything, and then he almost does, and then there's like a famous scene at the end where they like you hear them say one's alive and shit like that, and I liked it.
It sounds like Home Alone meets Scream.
There was a scene with the two friends, and I 100% I did say to Chelsea that it does remind me of Scream, and she's like, I guess, and I was
Billy
like,
and Stu.
I said it was like it reminds me of Billy and Stu, and them kind of they argue with each other, and they kind of he's like, you lied to me and stuff like that. Like, what else have you lied about? And then you see the they were both kind of going into this equally of like, oh, let's have a little fun, let's scare her, maybe get to grope her and fuck her, whatever they were going to do, but the friend doesn't really know what the true psychopath, the main kid, his idea actually is, and he was never going to really let her go and wanted to like keep her and stuff, and that's
very Billy and Stu.
It's fucking creepy, and
I didn't know this was an
liked
Australian movie.
It is really.
It's
I think just because it's the house and I see people tied up. Tom, have you seen Funny Games? Either of them?
What's Funny Games?
Oh boy, you need to watch Funny Games.
Funny Games.
That's one of the few ones that you can actually watch the German or the English version and not the German version because it's the same director and it's just a shot-for-shot remake.
What is this about?
Just watch it. Don't look anything up. Don't.
Tim Roth is in this?
Just watch it. Do not look anything up about this. You're going to spoil it for yourself, and it's a masterpiece.
I like Tim Roth. He was in a movie with Tupac.
Yeah, he was also Mr. Orange.
Yeah. From
Mr.
Reservoir
Orange
Dogs.
in Reservoir Dogs.
That's what I always remember him from.
I'm fucking dying. He's also I Love You, Honey Bunny in fucking Pulp Fiction.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think
yeah.
is that one of those is marked as Honey Bunny, I think, in some of the credits.
Yeah, that's Pulp Fiction because his right or no, Honey Bunny is the Honey Bunny is the girl.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they have her marked as Honey Bunny.
I
Yeah,
think
Tim Roth is
technically.
great in pretty much everything except for that Eric Bana Hulk movie.
Or
Or was that the Ed Norton one?
I was a kid. I liked it.
I don't know. I'm not really a good judge of superhero movies. I don't really care for many of them.
I liked the Hulk and I liked Wolverine. Shing Shing, who's short Canadian and he's hairy. Fuck yeah.
I like the Spider-Man movies, most of them.
So what?
Weird.
Well, they made you use fucking what's his fucking nuts to
Hugh
play
Jackman?
him, and it's just
Hugh
like
Jackman?
Wolverine's supposed to be like 4 foot like fucking 5 or some shit, and like he's tall and aggressive and just or short and aggressive and like not tall at all, and he's like this little like a little monster. And they
The
made him,
Wolverine
like,
is supposed to be
this
like Gimli
sexy
sized
man.
in Lord of the Rings, a little bit bigger.
Yeah. My uncle, fucking weird fact. My uncle, the one I've joked about that I don't hate him because he's gay, I hate him because he's liberal or whatever. He used to do like shows, like he was in big shows in Toronto. Like he was like doing tap dancing, like big, like what's that called? What's like musical shows, I guess. There's a certain famous one. He's like on the poster, blah blah blah. And he saw Hugh Jackman in the changing room, and he was like, "Whoa." Right there, like just getting changed, and I was like, "Yeah, that'd be interesting to walk into, because especially it's a known celebrity, and you're like, whoa, what's up, Hugh Jackman?"
Yes.
Yeah, why is that story stupid? It's kind of
No,
like
I'm just mildly jealous that he got to see Hugh Jackman naked.
I don't know if he was. I feel like I remember he said he was like in his underwear or something like that, getting ready for because he was on one of the big stages in Toronto.
Did he have a pipe on him?
Yeah, I know. Big cigar.
Yeah.
Fucking shing shing.
What's Wolverine packing?
What? Oh.
Did he have a pipe on him? What's Wolverine packing?
Oh yeah, I should be like, hey, just wondering. I know we don't really talk, but
does he hang dong in any movie?
Not that I know of. And he's not like a Liam Neeson where we hear that his dick is like massive.
Have you ever seen that gif of him?
No, what gif? Do you want me to bring it up?
Yeah, from a movie. I'm sure I mean, I don't know where this video is going. It might get pulled down, but it's Liam Neeson's long penis flying.
Oh, we don't need to show it. We don't need to show that. Oh, there's a video of him fucking waving it around.
Dude, it's freakish.
That's what Kevin Smith and his show Holly Babylon with Ralph Garman, they have an ongoing joke where like how big is Liam Neeson's penis, and they have like a joke every time people send in like jokes like how big is it, and it's just like they do like that whole thing every episode. So it's iconic, I guess.
Yeah, it is.
I feel like because we're talking about gingerbread dead man earlier, and I don't know why, like we're men, so we joke about penises and buttholes and fart jokes and stuff. But like I have a feeling that Gary Busey has a disgusting looking wiener where it looks like almost like some sort of like ugly worm.
Damn.
I guess.
we joked about like
what's that in reference to, Anton?
What? He's looking at the Liam Neeson.
Good for him. Good for him. Holy.
Fuck, I feel like I have to see this fucking thing.
Yeah. And I
see that thing flopping in a running pose, and I'm just like,
it was a joke. I just think of like Gary Busey shit. Like Gary Busey's a fucking weird
Gary
dude.
Busey is too terrifying. I don't care how big his dick is.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Or he has the most. It's funny how crazy he is. Yeah, I have a picture looks like a fucking like Frankenpenis, Lorena Bobbitt's like husband. But it's actually like the most beautiful, godly cock on the world, and fucking nobody can handle his fucking craziness. Liam, I don't know why we're doing this right now.
S-O-N.
And I just put cock.
To all cock. I typed in penis. To all of our listeners out there, I mean that's a homework if you feel like seeing it.
What the fuck? That's not his wiener, is it?
Yep.
I can't show what I'm looking at.
No, you can't. That's for them. That's you got to look that shit up on your own. But good for you.
Good for him, man. Good for him. You know what? They should do what they did with that crazy fucking wizard. What's his name? The wizard with the big dick from Russia.
Okay.
Rasputin,
because he's a wizard, but they kept his dick in a fucking jar.
You know that's actually been disproven.
I thought it was real.
No.
What? That's fucking disappointing.
Wah, wah, wah.
Are you retarded?
All right. Should we talk? Because I think it is worth mentioning Gremlins, considering it is kind of like a scary.
Gremlins 1 does classify as a creature feature, in my opinion. It is a creature-based horror film. People die in that movie.
Yeah. I like it. It's a go-to, like where you can watch it on Halloween or, you know what I mean?
It's not Christmas until I've watched Gremlins for me. It's not.
I have to watch it this year. There's so many movies I haven't watched yet. Like I do want to watch A Christmas Story. I'll watch the new fucking Disney bullshit one.
Have you
guys seen Advent Calendar?
I never cared for A Christmas Story.
No.
Anyone seen this? I was gonna watch it. It looks not bad. For people, if there is like certain movies that you guys like, even fans are like, yeah, like this one's pretty good. You guys either should commentate on it or just like fucking watch it. Let us know, obviously. I do think that like Gremlins is that go-to. Like I love that movie as a kid, and it did freak me out in that thing that the fucking thing sings. That's so iconic. And then the fucking Fu Manchu Man. That's like, we'll take this gremlin home.
I was scared of Gremlins till I was like 17. So
really,
I always tell people this story, and they're like, "Really?" And I do. I actually do want that Trick or Treat Studios like prop of the
Yeah,
Gremlins.
I
just
told you which
because.
one I want. I want the Gremlin chick made as a sex
Greta.
doll.
Yeah, I want the Flasher dude with the jacket.
I'm
Yes.
fucking kidding, everybody.
I would
Yeah,
love
I was
a
afraid
movie
of Gremlins
quality.
For a
for
long time.
Yeah, till I was like 70. Like genuinely, like I'm not just like saying this for like a bit or just to be like ridiculous or anything. I genuinely was afraid of Gremlins till I was like 17.
so
I
funny.
could barely like make it through a sitting of it, and I think it all
It's a
stemmed
good
from.
movie.
I remember because I didn't live with my dad full time when I was growing up, and I remember one night he was babysitting me or something like that, and
And he
Gremlins
turned into a
must have-
gremlin after too much whiskey.
Gremlins must have been on TV or some shit, and like he thought it would be really funny to leave it on, and I was like super young at the time, to leave it on, run upstairs, turn off all the lights in the house, run into the bathroom, and lock the door.
Wow.
And
So
like I remember freaking out. I ran up
traumatized
after him
you.
and I was like banging on the door and being like, "Please let me in." He was like, "I can't. There's something killing me in here."
oh
then, like,
my god.
Oh
Yeah,
my
I don't know.
God.
Somehow, like for some reason, I went back downstairs into the sitting room and just like kind of half watched the movie, and I just remember that haunting me for years.
Wow. And
Wow.
today he is obsessed with horror movies.
Yeah, and it's hilarious because I have lots of experiences over the years with my dad like that, where like he showed me Candyman when I was super young, and then that night he stood in the bedroom door with that. Remember that shit you used to get from like a joke shop, and you would put it in your mouth and it would make like white foam.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he stood in the bedroom doorway at like 4 or 5 a.m. with his eyes rolled back in his head with all that shit coming out of his mouth.
What the
Wow.
fuck?
I remember he showed me artificial intelligence as well. We done it for some reason. We done a double bill of that and Candyman, and I remember I was so afraid after watching Candyman that I was like still shitting my pants watching AI.
AI.
Yeah,
The fuck is
God
AI?
that's that kid from The Sixth Sense, in it, right?
Yeah, the Haley Joel
I've
Osment
seen
Android
that
movie.
That movie's fucking weird. You know what
Yeah.
movie haunted me for a long time? Was
This is
that
gonna be a
movie?
bit.
Yeah, it is. I was like, you know that movie with Rob Williams? I was trying to think of the fucking name.
Bicentennial Man.
A Bicentennial. No, is that what it's called?
Is
he's
that
like
the one where he's a robot?
butler
Yeah,
man?
that's Bicentennial Man.
And he's
I've
like,
never
I
seen
want
it.
to be a real man. Fucking fall in love with Julia Roberts, whoever the fuck that was.
I can tell now by your mannerisms when you're about to do a bit.
Oh fuck. Gremlins did freak me out. Like as a kid, I remember watching it like with my parents sitting on the couch kind of thing. And there's like funny parts of it. It is like it's a comedy plus kind of like a horror.
It's a black comedy.
Yeah, and I remember that whole scene. You think like Gizmo's cute, and he's got like the rebellious like fucking brothers, and the one that has like the fucking mohawk and shit, and he's like rebellious, and then they become, yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
they're
have
all kind
a
of
theory.
assholes to him. He's fucking bullying this little cute Gizmo boy.
I have a theory on Mogwai.
Okay.
Okay, so you know how when they come out, all of the Mogwai that are birthed out of Gizmo are all assholes, right?
Yeah.
So I think all first generation Mogwai are assholes. And I think the more you get them wet and the more they multiply, the more they chill out. So I think the Gizmo
Ah.
had been owned for maybe 80 years or 100 years. And it's like a systematic, like you do a dropper and then like maybe they make Mogwai stew or something out of the rest of them. But then you just slowly domesticate. That's how
Why
you
would you
domesticate
think
a
they make
Mogwai.
stew out of them, Anton? Why is that? Because
It's
because of where they
resourceful.
because where they live is
Because
that
it's resourceful and green.
We all know that the Chinese like eating stuff that we keep as pets. So
I know that a lot of other cultures eat a lot of things that are. How is that any different from what we do, though? We domesticate animals and fucking eat them.
there's a good Vinnie Paz song where he talks about like the farm factory stuff and animals.
Factory farms are fucked.
And all that shit. It's a very good song, and it's like, and it's very in depth of like how he's like, would you do that to your dog or your cat? Do you see the difference between a frog or a rat? And then he talks about how in some cultures they worship these animals, and then over here we eat them, and that's just like how it's kind of, you don't really, there's a line that we're dancing on with kind of all this stuff, right? How we eat certain things, and I don't think vegan is the way either. I couldn't do it.
I think conscientious farming and conscientious sourcing of your food is the way too, but it's all a societal problem. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
and then
not
wh-
something that has
yeah.
an easy one quick answer fix, I don't think.
And then when we beat the chickens and we stomp on them and we're like, PETA gets all angry. But like when that all happens and that energy resonates with those chickens when we're like debeaking them or the cows or whatever and the pigs that we're abusing, and then the fear goes into their flesh and then we eat it and we become fearful and it give us anxiety and we get possessed by the reptilians because the reptilians, we didn't eat meat until they genetically modified us to eat meat so that we would be more tasty.
What Christmas movie is this now?
Thank you once again for coming to Tom's Corner, folks. So I don't know about all that, but I do know that it has been. I still haven't seen this yet. It has been proven that
I don't know about all that.
meat with. Never mind. Fuck it.
No, tell me. It just made me laugh that you said that.
That train of thought is gone.
I don't know about all that. This is funny. Oh man, I feel like it has to become an oncoming thing on all of our shows that if I mention reptilians, you have to take the biggest bong hits in the world. It's like measure yourself up. We're in Ireland, drink a whole glass of whiskey, which seems like water to you guys. So
No.
Let's not do that again.
and obviously the second one's not really Christmas, but I still even think the second one is funny too. Like Gremlins is just like it's a comedy, but like a kind of you can watch it. I feel like in November, like that's one of those horror movies that are good. And he fucking sparked up.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm starting that tradition now. Aaron, I took a double big one for you. Fuck me. No, so I saw Gremlins 1 first when I was a kid. And then I saw Gremlins 2, and then it became Gremlins 2 from then on. Like, I love Gremlins 2.
It's so silly. And that there's one girl, like what the one girl, did they all fuck the
Greta.
one girl? Like, is there a huge gangbang going on in that office?
Is that what happened in your mind when you were a kid, Tom?
100%.
Is that Spank Bank Tom material?
Yeah, I said, why not, right? What's her name? Fucking
Greta.
Gilda or some shit?
Greta.
Greta Gilda. All right. What do we rate the Gremlins?
10 out of 10.
Yeah, I'd be going pretty high as well. Like 9.
I'll go like 8.5.
9.5.
Yeah.
I don't know. The way I rate shit on my letterbox, if I've watched it more than 10 times, it gets a 5-star.
What the fuck is Letterbox?
It's movie social media.
Oh, I don't know what the fuck that is.
Get one.
You
You just catalog and rate movies that you've seen.
What about The Lodge? I feel like I've
That's
seen
on
it
my watch list, but I haven't seen that
once.
yet either.
I have seen it once. I don't really remember it. You liked it, Aaron?
Aaron gives it thumbs up.
Yeah, it was good. It's pretty fucking grim though, and like kind of miserable.
Gotta
Am I
love
right in
that.
saying that it is? What's the plot for that movie?
I don't know.
Interesting.
I can pull it up. I just got the images to show, and then it made me think of the movies that I've never seen, that I don't know anything about.
Let's see the Lodge movie.
I just remember them being in a lodge, and
Yes. So it is the
They're in a
movie I was
lodge.
thinking of.
The end.
A soon-to-be stepmom is snowed in with her fiance's 2 children at a remote holiday village. Just as relations begin to thaw between the trio, some strange and frightening events take place. I thought this movie was fucking brilliant. Now, I will say
I
that
remember it kind of.
if
I have to
you're
rewatch it.
going to watch it, and you know you're listening to this episode going like, "Oh, Christmas horror," and like most of the Christmas horror movies are kind of like quirky. Like even the ones that are gory and graphic, they're still kind of fucking like jokey and just like, you know.
I agree.
This one is not. This deals with like mental health, depression.
Either I've watched
Suicide.
it, or I was going to watch it. Like I don't. I feel like I remember like it looks familiar because it's like the kid from It and stuff.
It's very, very good, but it is like you kind of have to go into it. It's like it's very, very fucking I don't know how to like. It's a huge downer watching it.
That seems to be the general description that I've heard is Disney the Lodge. Is that a fan poster somebody made? Or?
Yeah, I don't know. It, like I like this kid from
It
fucking
looks
It.
bleak.
So
Yeah, it is. That's the word I was looking for. Bleak. It's like really, really fucking bleak. But really interesting, and the tension and the atmosphere in it is absolutely fantastic. I thought, there's like from the get go, basically from the minute they get to the lodge, there's this like they've done a really great job of like building that atmosphere where you're like, something's fucking weird here, but I don't know if it's
Jesus.
is it horror, is it the kids, is there something else, is it like the lodge itself? And I can guarantee you, it's not what you think. It's not your run of the mill like, oh, it's a spooky Christmas demon or anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out. It looks like it could not be that bad. I tried watching Holiday Hell, and yeah, I didn't. I turned it off. So it was one of those movies I saw, and there's the flamethrower picture. So that's Jeff Pardo, or whatever the fuck his name is.
Yep.
In the Santa costume, fucking setting people on fire. But I saw there's like even like there was an a Christmas like thing I did on that Reface app where I'm like last year with an axe, and it was from this movie. I've never seen it, and I saw it, so I like kind of like just watched like 10 minutes of it, and it was so low budget and stupid, and like you have like these dumb chicks and fucking high heels, and like I was like, I don't know, I don't want to watch this. Yeah, have you guys seen it? Okay.
No, I have
What
not.
about I've never seen this. Is this worth it? Christmas.
I was gonna watch it the other night, and then I was just like, oh, I just
cry.
Whatever.
I just watched this recently. For two reasons. One, Santa with laser beams. I was like, yes, please.
He does have
Two,
laser
I
beams?
saw yes. Two, I saw VFW. And
Oh, yeah, it's the same guy, right?
I haven't seen Bliss, but VFW was fucking awesome. And it is very much like Grindhouse, gore
What's
fest
VFW about?
style over substance. It's about a gang that assaults a VFW. Do you know what a VFW is? Do you have those up in Canada?
Is it a car that the Germans made?
No, VFW is a Veterans of Foreign War club. So it's basically like a little building that you have to be a veteran from a foreign war to be a member of, and you just go
weird.
there to drink. It's like a lodge, basically.
What? What? So like,
So it's a bar for veterans.
so if you fought in the Korean War and you're Korean, then you get to go to this bar.
Yeah, if you fought in the Korean War and you're Korean, well, no, you have to be an American soldier that served in a foreign war.
Oh, I thought you meant like it's where the foreigners went to drink because they can't be allowed in the other ones because all the PTSD.
No, I believe it was
vets
either
and shit
founded-
will lose their mind.
It was either founded by World War I vets or World War II vets.
Weird. Didn't know
but-
about that.
Yeah, so VFW, the movie follows a VFW bar where a bunch of old special forces people are hanging out drinking, and this girl comes in and she's being like assaulted by this gang, and they basically hunker down. It's a siege movie. It's think like Assault on Precinct 13, but a grindhouse that's a bunch of guns and blood and
Nice.
bang.
That sounds fun. Bang
It's
bang.
great. No, it's great.
I thought you said gangbang there.
But so Christmas Bloody Christmas is about it follows these two protagonists. I cannot remember their names for the life of me because this movie is straight up all style, no substance. That Santa Claus is a robot prop that has been sold to stores. It has been
nice.
recalled by the military because it goes haywire and starts killing everybody because it was apparently military tech originally. There's these two
Sounds
people
like
that work in
small
a
soldiers.
yeah, kind of,
Mm.
exactly, but on a large scale. And this Santa just tears through this town, killing everybody. And there's a final girl, and the guy that played Herman Munster in the Rob Zombie Monsters is the sheriff.
Oh,
And
cool.
it was fun. It was a really good time. I liked it. It's kind of slow in some spots, but
You,
I'll
you
have
like
to
anything.
check it out. And obviously, there's all these options to do commentaries and stuff like that. I think maybe to like bring this slowly to a close. Actually, there's two more I want to get into quickly. Let's just our thoughts on a Christmas horror story because I think this should be its own episode, maybe a commentary, then a review or something like that because it is a fun movie.
so
Krampus battles Santa Claus.
I just rewatched this recently, and then Friday that was the second movie on Joe Bob Briggs' holiday special.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
the cool thing about this movie is that it's an anthology, but it's not an anthology. Like it's an anthology disguised as not being an anthology. William Shatner as the progressively drunker pro Christmas DJ. Dude, fucking awesome. Does
I
anyone
have
want to take
never.
the
So I had this tabbed to ask you guys, had you ever seen it? I have never. I've always seen this, and I've always seen the poster, and I don't know whether just from the because normally a poster like that would get me, but for some reason, every time I looked at it, I was like, "Wow, this is some like
it's gonna
this is
suck.
like the dude down the street made this." So I was like,
Mhm.
"I'm never gonna watch this ever." So I've actually
Anton
never seen
told
it.
me about it last year, and we joked about like maybe we should do like a commentary or a host head review for the Patreon. And then so I watched it, and I think I was just like kind of barely like editing something or some shit or doing something for the show, and I was like I kept looking up and like it like just couldn't focus on what I was doing because I wanted to watch it, and it's fun, and there's like some really fun scenes in it where I'm like this is kind of sick, and that one dude that's on all that those kids movies kind of plays Santa, like he was on like the kind of like low budget YTV style kind of stuff, and I liked it, and I think it's worth watching. And even if you want, since you've never seen it, maybe we should do a commentary on it to get your first thoughts, and we can bring up like facts
Yeah,
and stuff about
sure.
the film and how they did it. I think it might be a
That
good
dude you're
idea.
talking about played Beast on the X-Men cartoon for years.
Oh yes, I love that. Da-na-na-na-na, da-na-na-na-na,
Oh,
da-na-na-na-na.
was that you that done that intro?
Da-na-na-na, da-na-na-na.
I'm Jubilee. I make sparks.
Yeah.
Has anybody seen The Children from 2008?
I was looking at
No.
that. No.
That's I would be interested to see what you guys thought of that.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I've watched it a few times, and I kind of don't know. Like, I love the vibe of it. I love the story and kind of the atmosphere and tone of it. But
It
there's
looks
something
creepy.
I always kind of felt like I was like, "Oh, I don't know if I like this as much as I want to."
Interesting.
So basically, the
Children
story
are falling
follows
around.
Elaine and Jonah and their teenage daughter and young son and daughter. They come to spend New Year's with her sister Chloe and husband Robbie and their two young children at an isolated country home. One by one, the children, after apparently being sick, become increasingly violent. So, like, it's
Ah.
basically the
virus
parents.
movie.
No,
What language is this in?
the parents are basically fighting for survival against their like violent killer children.
Oh, there's an
Oh.
eye scene,
Nice.
dude. You just spoiled the death though. But brutal.
I would say definitely. I would definitely give it a watch. But like I still don't know how I feel about it, to be honest.
Okay. Just there's gonna be some honorable mentions. I think we'll definitely end it talking about Krampus. Would be a great idea because I just watched it like last night. What were you doing? Really?
I'm not
lo-
a massive fan of Krampus.
I love the Krampus movie actually. Rewatching it, I was like, I forgot how good this was. So that's weird. I actually thought you'd have a different take, to be honest.
I might have to rewatch it again because I haven't seen it in quite a while. So maybe I'll
So
enjoy it more then.
if you don't even fucking
what's-
remember it.
I just wanted to be a dick.
No, I do. I'm very curious. What's the rating for? What's the?
I give Krampus like a 7.5 to like an 8 because I liked it. It's like fun and it's creepy, and I was watching it as I was getting the special ready and doing stuff for the Strange Brew Christmas special, and when he's going across the rooftops and stuff like that, I was like, that's fucking freaky. And she's running in this like crazy blizzard, like, and there's certain scenes and it's kind of like comical. And you have that like bald guy from Anchorman that talks about fucking making chicken out of bats and stuff, or chicken out
I
of the
didn't
fucking
expect
sky
it to be
or
as
whatever.
comedic as it was when I saw it.
I
Yeah.
liked it, and I thought it's kind of creepy, and for the idea of Krampus, and it's we just kind of really figured it out over here what it was, and it's existed for so long and shit like that. I think they put a decent amount of money into it, and I thought it was pretty good.
I love the Krampus design from Krampus. I really do.
Oh, it's so
Yeah.
scary, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I remember enjoying it. Spoiler: it has a real bleak fucking ending, which I liked as well.
Yeah, but then it's kind of happy.
I was gonna say, or you could interpret it as happy as well. Like it
He learns
really
his fucking
depends.
lesson. You don't fuck around. And there's some creepy things in this fucking like the toy bag monster thing. And this thing bothered me. The licking doll.
Yeah, I gotta say, I remember actually. Yeah, no, this was. Oh, Aaron left us. He got. Oh, so he got mad that we were saying we actually liked Krampus, but I had to think about it for a minute because I was like, man, do I? So brutal.
That's sick. For
Now
obviously all the
drop
audio
your tongue
listeners-
through it.
Yeah, can you get it?
I don't even
Does
know.
it have
Can you guys hear me at all?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Does it have a tongue?
I think the
No.
mouth is just black. You can't see the mouth.
It definitely should have a tongue. Whoops, because that's like the main thing of Krampus, right? Is like this. We talked about it even on the Christmas special of like the long tongue is in every like image of Krampus.
Yes.
I liked it, and I think it's the design for Krampus is extremely creepy, and for what it could have been a lot worse, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
And it was kind of fun, and the whole like kind of folklore behind it, and the grandma. I like that aspect of it. That mask is fucking freaky. I actually love
It's so
that.
cool.
I'm surprised they didn't make another Krampus movie.
Yeah, me too. Why? Because they could have kind of carried it on and done a completely different story or something. But like even when I rewatched it, it's not one I go to all the time. I was like, okay, like I like it. Like I think it's fun, and it's kind of like this movie where you don't really know if anyone, like it seems like everyone's just gonna fucking die at the end, and it's just like it kind of goes a different direction than I think you even think it might go.
You know what I would love to see? I would love to see the director of Trick or Treat, the horror anthology, do a Christmas anthology, but a Christmas horror anthology.
There is so many Krampus movies. When even on Tubi, when I was looking it up, there is quite a bit. Let's see if I can find, like, this was one I saw, and they're probably extremely cheap.
Well, those are the definition of exploitation films. Those are the ones that piggyback on like the major studio released Krampus. It's like, so we're gonna put out like 8 other Krampus movies.
Yeah, there's so many Krampus movies. Krampus 2, and it's this one looks kind of fun.
I like the creature design. If that's not CGI,
I don't think it is. It's fucking looks super cheap.
Yeah, that is.
But like I thought they did a good design on Krampus. I think Aaron, you need to revisit it and really go in, like just fucking go into it. Maybe get a little drunk or something like that. Like drink a full 26er of Jack Daniels, and you probably will enjoy it.
Drink a respectable amount to get yourself nice and loose and in the mood.
You know who ruined it for me? I always remember as the fucking the depressed, like suicidal mother in About a Boy, the chick from fucking Hereditary.
Oh,
yeah. You don't like her?
Not in Krampus, I don't.
Why? I liked her.
I don't know. I was just kind of like, ugh.
I don't have the same hate for her. It seems like that you do.
Toni Collette?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, that's her name.
I was like, how the fuck am I blanking on her name? She is an absolute delight.
And I love her in like most things.
Yeah, she's fantastic in just about everything.
Yeah, I liked it. I'm actually very surprised considering you bought a probably fucking $300 mask. So that you don't like are not the most fondest of it.
I don't know.
You can like the aesthetic without liking the film.
Yeah, like there's a lot of it I like, but I don't know, there's just something about it for me that, like, say something
Let
like
them fly.
the new version of It.
Sucks.
I enjoy them the full way through, and I feel like this had potential to make me feel like that as well, but I felt like it was kind of doing this.
I think there's some like a little problems with it, but I'm watching it like again. I was like, okay, it's not bad. It could have been worse.
Oh,
Like,
100%. Yeah.
So
100%.
and it could have been like, and not as like I think they chose a decent cast of like the boy and the uncle that's kind of crazy and lives in fucking country bumpkin hick guy that has like shotguns in the back of his car, like because it's the only way to survive Krampus. And like some of the monsters I think were fun, and even I think we did mention a little bit of the elves in the special like one time, and so it was based on the movie because the elves only exist in the movie lore. As far as I looked up, it's not a real Krampus lore.
Yeah, as per our episode, I got the same shit too.
Yeah, so like I liked it. And honestly, it's a movie I will go back to, and it's a movie I would show my kids when they're like 12 or 13. Like obviously like not too young, but like one that I don't think is that bad to like have like a Christmas kind of horror movie because it teaches Christmas about teaching lessons. I really believe that. You know, if you fuck around, you're gonna get your ass kicked. You're gonna get whipped by sticks. I was gonna say whipped by fags because that's a bundle of sticks. So is that bad to say? You asked me that question on the episode, Anton. Don't get
By fags. Fags over here is cigarettes, so that's weird.
you get beaten with
So
cigarettes.
when I started smoking cigarettes, my grandmother would buy them for me when she found out that I smoked. And she would always ask me, "Do you need fags?"
What nationality was your grandma?
Interesting.
American.
That's funny. Do you need any fags at the store?
She's like, "Do you need me to get you a pack of fags?" I was like, "Yes, Grandma," because I'm like 17. I couldn't buy them at the time.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Where
like
does that come
here-
from? Where does that come
I don't
from?
know. Because like that here would be commonplace. Like, you know, if you were out in a bar or somewhere, like you could get somebody you know, and if they seen you smoking around, like, oh, have you got a fag? Have you got a
Yeah.
spare fag, or can I have the rest of your fag?
Ew, don't do that. But
Then I'll
like,
just
I
slide
would
up when I
love to
say-
just know where that comes from, like why you have a derogatory term for gay people to yell that at them and stuff when you're angry. Like, I don't understand why the bundle of sticks and the cigarettes became a negative thing towards gay people. Like, I'd like to know where that kind of came from.
I've only ever heard like the urban legends of it, where it was like a bundle of sticks was used to burn heretics. A bundle of sticks is a burden, so you'd actually call old women fags as well. Like it was originally meant to describe like a burden on society. So I think it
when I
became
see one of those old ladies reaping off the system, I'm gonna yell fag at her.
I think it became like
Just
synonymous
kidding.
with that, from my understanding.
Yeah.
So that's
Weird.
why
I
it's a
didn't know
hateful
that at
fucking-
all either, too. I didn't know that at all of the women.
I try to
things.
learn
Like,
this shit because I'm really curious about it. Like I like to know where
Yeah.
the origin of a word comes from.
I don't know if that's
sometimes.
bad to say if we're talking about the definition of the word, because like imagine back in the day, this old lady's like walking, and you're like, "You're a burden on society, you faggot."
Well, no, that
It's
wasn't like
what?
that's also where like the myth of the hag comes in. Like the old whose husband died or they were unmarried, the spinstress that lived on the edge of town, and
Yeah,
everybody
and
was
then they
either afraid
cast
of
them
them
as
or
a
they
witch.
considered them a burden. Yeah,
And
exactly.
and I think when we do dive into maybe next year's Christmas
History's
special
fucked up.
about the magic mushroom, there was probably people like those women that lived on the border of the forest in some like towns and why they believe witchcraft was a thing, because they were like maybe consuming magic mushrooms too, that it actually ties into stuff with witchcraft too. When I was looking up some of the history of it,
Well, the ergot thing has been disproven. That's the only thing, is that the ergot poisoning has, because there's too many other things that would have had to have happened in order for that to have been a factor, and there was
they
literally
think at
no.
least
Well,
but
no,
ergot poisoning
there's
did
no
exist, not
right,
maybe
right, but
in.
ergot
Yeah.
poisoning does happen, but for the Salem witch trials, it was completely.
Oh yeah,
discredited.
that okay for the Salem witch trials that might have been, but in Europe and other places, I'm listening to a book from Terrence Leary. I think it might be Timothy Leary's brother. And it's about magic mushrooms and that thing, and like how they would essentially like chew them and like stuff like that, whatever. And then
Yeah.
ergot poisoning was the thing, and people would hallucinate and stuff like
Well,
that.
yeah,
So
of course.
crazy.
If you're living off the land, so somebody's gonna fucking pick something that's gonna trip them the fuck
And this
out.
lady's having all these fucking visions and stuff in the woods, and then like she lures some boy in there, and then she's like, "You look tasty," and then then they get burned at the stake. To go back to the witch episode.
I think a lot of the people that would live like more on the edge of town would probably be the people that were a little more in tune with everything, like the shamans of the area, if you will.
Yeah.
So
I
like,
forgot. He's coming. Krampus is coming. I actually have like a legit real sleigh bells, and I forgot to bring them on
Nice.
the special, and it makes me sad. He's coming to rape your butthole.
For a second there, I thought you were after like knocking over everything in your room. I was like, what the fuck is that?
oh god,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, isn't there? These are like legit real
Yeah,
sleigh
those are
bells.
cool.
Isn't that fun?
Tom is teabagging himself.
Okay, I guess I don't know if you guys have any thoughts, or if anything's stewing in your brain cells or whatever is going on up in those the empty minds that we have, or too full of shit maybe. But I don't know. What did you think of Violent Night there, buddy boy?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I mean, there was parts of it that I didn't care for so much. I thought there was a couple of weird choices. It had, don't get me wrong, I really did enjoy it, but I definitely feel like it had maybe more potential.
Was there any Santa mommy things? How weird was it?
No, unfortunately. Or was there? Yeah, it was good. I definitely think it'll be probably in my Christmas rotation for years to
Has
come.
anyone seen Fat Man? Because I started it, I just haven't finished it yet, but I was kind of interested. But it seemed a little slow at the beginning. With
Who's in
Mel
that one?
Gibson. Mel Gibson.
Mel Gibson? No, I have not.
Everybody's favorite racist. And and yeah, he plays like a the Fat Man, and it looks like a mob kind of movie. And the trailer actually made it look kind of good, so I wanted to watch it. And I kept being like, oh, like I was smoking up, and I was like, let's watch Bad Friends instead. Any final thoughts? What are we talking about, man? What are we doing? What are we doing for Christmas?
Christmas horror is fucking awesome. It is a wonderful subgenre, and I'm happy that it exists.
Me too. I think it's cool. All right. So what are you guys thinking? Like, what's your go-to, I guess, Christmas horror movie? Gremlins, I guess, for Anton.
Well, okay, Gremlins.
Nightmare Before Christmas is technically kind of creepy.
I would say Christmas Horror Story for me. Nightmare Before Christmas is a Halloween movie for me.
Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah, Christmas Horror Story, Gremlins. I would say I'm probably gonna add. I don't know if I'll add Christmas Evil to the list, but maybe. Probably, yeah.
It's dark. It's dark, but I liked it. It is dark too.
I know I'm stoned as fuck right now, and I know that I'm gonna be like, as soon as we're done recording, be like, "Fuck that one." That's the one that I wanted to say.
I will legit say, one of my favorites is Krampus. I don't give a
you've convinced me. I'm gonna rewatch it now because I've only seen it twice, and I'm like, I really want to go for that again. I remember liking it, so I'm gonna.
You don't have a number one, Aaron?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Which one? Which one makes
My
your
penis is tingling right now.
Which one makes your penis tingle?
I do enjoy most of the Silent Night, Deadly Nights from what I remember.
Yeah, I only remember the first two.
At one point, I probably would have said Black Xmas, to be totally honest with you, because it was probably one of the ones I watched more than others. I kind of feel like that. Maybe.
What is this?
Wow, random.
What? Is that trauma? What is that?
I don't know. These are honorable mentions. Cannibal Claus and whoops, we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
Mrs. Claus. There's other ones like all these Krampus films and shit. So yeah, you don't really have a number one. Like Silent Night Deadly Night, I did like the original though. Like it is a good, like for a horror Christmas movie. It's fun. I will say, like, I'll put like even Santa's Sleigh up there just because, like, when I never seen it, I first watched it with you guys, and the beginning scene of him just bust down the chimney and fucking everybody up, I was like, wow, this is so much fun. Like, just like, and I'm like a stoner, so to just get stoned and have a drink or something and watch some ridiculous Christmas movie, it's fucking fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say Krampus will be one of my number ones. Yeah, Cannibal Claus, and then I think it should be mentioned about the mean one.
I'll go see it. I'll probably go see
Yeah,
that Winnie the
same.
Pooh thing too, even though I'm disappointed that it's not like a Winnie the Pooh monster, but it's just a killer. So
I want to
I'll
see
both
Blood
of
and
them.
Honey too. Yeah, I'll watch both of them. Yeah, you know, everyone.
Merry Christmas, you filthy animal, and a Happy New Year.
Smooching with everybody. Big little Mo with the gimpy leg. Everybody, baby.
Any final thoughts? Anything we want to mention? Anything that we forgot to say?
I don't think so. Like, I mean, there's probably a million other Christmas horror movies out there, as we've just seen in the last like 5 minutes, that we haven't seen. I would like to maybe revisit something like this time next year and actually take the time to try and see a lot of these other ones that I haven't seen.
Yeah,
I feel
me
like
too.
for
Me
me,
too.
Christmas
I agree.
horror is probably something that I maybe didn't give the time to as much, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah,
now that
I agree.
we've been talking about it for the last 2 hours, I'm like, I haven't actually seen a lot of these. Either A, I haven't seen them properly, B, I haven't seen them at all, or don't know they exist. So it's like, I feel like I should give it a little bit more time.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that too. When there's certain ones I haven't seen, so I chose to actually try to watch as many that looked as interesting as, you know, like it's the cover and just go into it like, you know, Silent Night and stuff like that. And I think it's worth, like, you know, and like Aaron said before, we will probably talk about all sorts of different horror movies surrounding certain seasons or holidays and stuff like that, because it is worth to mention some of these obscure things, because sometimes people just like want to create something and it might be goofy or stupid or whatever. It could be fun. And I'm about it. I'll give it a go. And you've kind of opened the door for me on some of the stuff.
I think as long as you make it with sincerity and your heart is in it, it's gonna be received well. It doesn't have to be a brilliant film. Most of the times we'll eat it up if it's, you put your heart into it and you do your best and you make it as good as you possibly can. We'll either going to laugh or most horror, I think, is comical for most of us these days.
What do you guys look forward to the most about Christmas?
Giving gifts.
Really?
No,
I don't want to make waves. But this whole Christmas season is stupid.
I
like hanging with friends.
Yeah, I said to Chelsea, she was like, you always say you don't like Christmas, but you secretly like it. And I'm like, maybe I do. Because like you usually have time off, you hang out with family. I usually drink and have fun and try to just see the people that you you have to see. There's some people that you have to see that you don't necessarily maybe want to see, but like most times it's just like hang out, have some drinks, some good food. So I don't know. I mean, I always will be Halloween. Like I'll do Halloween all year. I would more or less want to celebrate Krampus knock more than Christmas and just have
it's a good time. You got to come down for the parade next year.
That's 100% going to happen. I'm going to do that. We're going to try to get our passports all done so we can actually start doing stuff and really actually seeing each other in physical person. And, so there's a lot of stuff to come. And I always say that, but I truly believe it because I have nonstop ideas. My brain doesn't stop fucking ticking.
I would say at this point in life, I enjoy any excuse to eat, drink, and be merry. So.
That needs to be the thumbnail.
There's also crazy. There's a song from Beast 1333 you guys should listen to, but it's all about the real history of Christmas and how it's not what we think it is. It's all pagan holidays and shit and Sinterklaas.
That's exactly what we think it is. Everyone knows that.
Not everybody. They believe it's about Jesus, but Jesus was born in July. Who fucking knows?
I don't think anybody still believes that shit.
They don't? There's got to be a church out there that's like the evangelical ones or whatever that are like Jesus is definitely born.
Yeah, the evangelical ones probably don't celebrate Christmas because they recognize it as a pagan holiday. It's always been a pagan holiday.
That's kind of true.
You can slap Christians. It's like the Catholic element in voodoo and hoodoo. It's just a skin. It's a filter to make people be like, that's
something else I really want to talk about. I want to talk about voodoo and hoodoo.
We got to read.
We got to get some crazy Haitian lady on though. That'd be fun.
We got to all read the book, The Serpent and the Rainbow, the one that the film was based on. The guy that actually went to Haiti and lived with them, and then do the episode. I'm down.
That's a real thing.
Yes.
Okay, that's crazy. All right. Well, you know where to find us. What do you guys like? What's your one go-to thing on Christmas? Like, what is your like? Just to end it off, like people like I drink eggnog. I'll usually have like scotch. At least like once or twice, kind of like and always go back to the movies type of thing. That's like,
I'm gonna sound bougie, but wine, olives, and charcuterie. That's
charcuterie is good too.
The fucking anytime I can have olives and wine and just yep.
And like sweets and snacks, like we had cream cheese like pie cake thing yesterday and pumpkin pie, and I was like, oh yeah.
Whiskey, thick beer, overeating like crazy. We had Friendsmas last night, and there was 2 different types of birds. There was a turkey, there was a roast chicken, there was a big ass pie, a bunch of mashed potatoes, like charcuterie boards, beers, whiskeys, eggnog, a ton of weed.
I want to do a Friendsmas, and I want to dress up like the guy from Scary Movie 2. Where it's like fucking must.
Oh my god, that would be incredible!
Turkey.
That's a great idea.
Aaron, what is
you gotta come next year? But
yeah, we will.
Take my strong hand, child. Chris Elliott and Scary Movie 2.
It's probably very similar to what both of you guys have said. I don't think there's like I was trying to rack my brain. There's one thing that I like can't be without or whatever. But I think it's more just that it feels like that time of the year where you can just kind of, even though I do it probably a lot more the year than I would care to admit, that thing of sitting around and like being able to just like drink from morning till night, but not be like completely out of my mind.
Yeah, just pacing
and, like,
yourself where you're just having a
overeat.
drink all day.
Yeah, and like I could be like, we could have breakfast, and then I could be eating like a shit ton of fucking like
Yeah.
Christmas sweets and random shit,
I
and then I'm
know.
having like Christmas dinner, and then so like that's probably the thing I enjoy the most. And I feel like the 2 or 3 days for Christmas where like I suppose everything kind of stops, even though it doesn't really.
Mhm.
I always find it just seems like one like continuously long day.
100%. That's how
Yeah.
I feel because all my families are divorced. And so it's like from this place to this place a lot of times. And then it's so busy. I do admit that there is an element to Christmas where it's like it's stressful. There's a lot of
Mhm.
fucking money involved. That you have selfish kids that parents didn't teach them right, in my opinion. And then they're like crazy and they think they need everything and stuff like that, right? So it becomes kind of this marketing ploy of like capitalism and shit like
Well,
that.
it is
which
that's the
downside, but-
consumerist aspect of Christmas. That's the dark beating heart of most Western.
Me and
Christmas,
Chelsea didn't even get each
unfortunately.
other anything this year. We're like, we can do this another year. Let's just focus on getting people like something nice, but not too crazy expensive, but like well done. So we did like these baskets with like puzzles and blankets and shit like that. And like,
I love that. That's awesome.
see, and you gotta think smart, but like, it should be more about hanging out with your family and the people you
Absolutely.
love, right? So
Yeah.
and you know what? I love you guys.
I love you, tree.
All right.
You're disgusting and adorable.
3.
Fucking Aaron's camera stroked out. It's free.
Yeah, you had Popeye eye for a minute. You're like,
Oh, nice. Wow.
All right. Everybody love everybody. You know what to find us, www.strangebrewttv.com. You know what? These are things you can listen to every year. It's pretty fun that we were able to do some stuff like this between all of our shows. And it's fun. We've traveled down this kind of fun path together. And I like it. It's fun times.
Happy holidays.
Indeed.
Happy.
Gross.
I didn't mean to click that one, but that's fucking funny. I was like, which ones do I have? I thought it was over one, but yeah, ho ho ho, and fucking.
All I want, Santa Claus, is 2 fat bitches and a bag of weed and 2 bags of chips to get her to the fat bitches.
All right, adios, amigos. Oh wait, happy Hanukkah.
Tomorrow.
Merry Kwanzaa. I don't know what is it Merry Kwanzaa. What else do they have? Happy Krampusnacht. And any others? Right? We got everybody.
Happy whatever you celebrate, and just ignore all of those statements if you don't celebrate anything. We love all of you.
Yeah, if you're a Jehovah's Witness, I understand.